Okay.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcos. Let me look at you.
They don't want it.
Tobin Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay. Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Steers on the stars with the show, and till then his half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm a lie about a motor. No proof. Like I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him, and if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what is a star? Like another city, the driver's like fly. Gucci get large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. Hey, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever and cute as can be. You can watch it on YouTube with view for free. Hey, this one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time wondering what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Welcome on in to the Tobin and Leroy show. A little different today. No Tobin, no Leroy.
What is that?
Today it is Alex Donno, Stephanie. What the hell is that?
Holy feedback, Batman.
Yeah,
No,
why is that happening?
You.
And everybody else's mics were muted. So it's
Yeah.
not my fault, not JFig's fault.
No.
Oh.
I can
Crazy.
hear myself. That's scary.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, JFig?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to let a little audio feedback ruin a couple things. First of all, Marcos is wearing a tremendous ugly Christmas sweater. He looks fantastic today. JFig had that's a Bob Ross sweater?
And it
My
lights
goodness. That is incredible. Marcos has a Bob Ross Christmas sweater on. JFig has a Christmas sweater as well. I guess it's not cold enough for you to actually put it on. I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt.
Okay, I like that.
This is just how I roll pretty much any day of the year. And I got to cap off, and I'm filling in, I guess, for Tobin or Leroy today. I'm going to say Marcos is filling in for Tobin. I'm also bald like Leroy. I'll be filling in for Leroy today. I guess we're going to work it out that way. JFig is filling in for JFig. And I just had my busiest day of the year yesterday, and that's National Signing Day. And I got to cap off that National Signing Day after I put the football stuff aside for a little bit, and I got to watch my Miami Heat beat the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic actually have a better, not for long, but a better record than the Miami Heat. Miami Heat currently chasing Orlando in the division, but the Heat got that dub in O-Town. Tyler Hero had a big offensive game, 28 points. He took over. No Jimmy, no problem. Bam with a big game. My guy Jaime Jaquez Jr. So I was enjoying every second of that. JFig, how are you? I'll talk to you now since you don't have an echo before we talk to Marcos again. How are you doing today as we're getting closer to Christmas?
So you're saying I can still hear myself. That's so weird. Okay.
I think we have a problem.
What's the problem?
Seems like you.
Yeah, because now I don't hear any echo with Marcos anymore.
Ah.
Oh, so you fixed yours, but not mine.
Oh, look at that. All right, what if I do this? Oh.
Seems like the problem is you.
I think it's your settings. I turned you off in that.
Wow.
Who touched my settings?
Not it.
Not it.
On that computer? Oh, you can't trust people on that computer.
I know.
I'm gonna blame Hollywood or Tobin.
Yeah, that's fine. I was able to cash the game yesterday. Costing me some money.
Well, what was your bet?
You cost yourself your money.
That's fair. But I've become a degenerate as of recent, Donno. I'm not sure if you're aware of this.
On that Hard Rock app?
I should be using the Hard Rock app, but I use Underdog because it was available before the Hard Rock.
Oh, I thought maybe you had a bookie, like you actually had some third generation Italian American dude down the block that you were getting numbers from.
I was, and then he became Tommy DeVito's agent, and I don't know. I recently just decided, you know what? Let me just throw away money at a egregious rates because I have an addiction to potential lines. So we put together a parlay yesterday. One of them was Caleb Martin over 12.5 points. Didn't hit.
Oh, yeah.
Another one was Kyle Lowry over 4.5 assists. And spoiler alert, it didn't hit.
Oh.
So I'll tell you what, I was watching the game yesterday, and once I knew that my bets weren't going to hit, I was just watching normal Miami Heat basketball like a normal fan and expecting there to be a fourth quarter collapse, and there almost was
There
one.
almost was.
There almost was one, dude. As soon as it was like, all right, there's a 20-point lead, I was like, all right, cool. That means it's going to be a 5-point game soon enough.
Right.
So that was scary for sure.
So is it a situation where, because I'll be honest, after seeing them earlier this week, in fact, blowing fourth quarter leads and losing games like what happened against Minnesota, we've seen it happen throughout the year, I was just relieved to win the game. Did you come out of it like angry that, they almost blew it again? Or were you like me? You're like, hey, that's a dub. It's a division dub. I can, rub it in the face of Orlando Magic fans if there are any. I can do that. I was just relieved to get that win.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, had we lost, not only would it be like another loss that we've blown, it'd be like a loss to a team that wasn't playing well. And the Magic have had a good season for sure, but I think the first half, I think they were like 3 of 17 from 3 or something like that. It was a piss poor performance from almost all of their best players. Had we managed to lose that game, that probably would have been very disheartening for us.
Yeah. So throughout the day, obviously, because I do want to talk a little bit about what's been happening at the University of Miami, a very strong recruiting class. And by the way, can I throw this in there as a little bit of a troll, Marcos? And you had me on the show yesterday. We talked a little bit during National Signing Day about what Mario Cristobal was putting together. Miami ends up with a better recruiting class than Florida State and a way better class than Florida. But how about this one? I didn't realize this till this morning. I'm looking through the class of 2024 rankings on 24/7 Sports. All that hype, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. Do you want to know where Colorado's recruiting class sits right now in the rankings? Do you want to take a guess as to where Colorado's recruiting class with Coach Prime ranks right now?
Okay.
This sounds like the scene in Oppenheimer when they set the bomb off, is what it. Spoiler alert.
I haven't seen that yet, Donno.
Okay.
I would say the way that he was talking and the way that Coach Prime can recruit, I would say they are third. They have the third best class.
A little lower.
Oh, okay.
A little lower.
They have the 7th best class.
A little lower.
Okay.
I'll give you one more guess.
But it's Coach Prime, though.
Coach Prime.
All right. I would say the 11th best class.
98th.
Whoa, my God.
Deion Sanders with the 98. Now they are expecting to sign a 5-star offensive lineman, which I think would bump them into the 80s. But they're the 98th ranked class in the country out of, I think, about 130. Coach Prime has got the 98th rated class. I don't know if he just decided to take a year off, like in recruiting, because he got, Cormani McLean last year. So like, I'm good till 2025. I don't know what he's thinking, but 98th right now.
Yeah, that's needless to say. That's horrendous. I expected much better. I mean, obviously, that he needs offensive linemen. He was preaching it all last year. He brought in a lot of the skill position players when he made that initial move over to Colorado. So really, he just needed to fill in a lot of the trenches and a few players here and there. But I don't know. I really thought the Prime effect would have a better, output in regards to National Signing Day. That sucks. I don't know, man. That's really rough, dude. I didn't expect 98th.
98th. Well,
what do you think it is? What do you think the reason is? Like, are people scared of the pressure, or?
I'm not really sure how competitive their NIL situation is. The money plays a big factor in all this. And I also Listen, man, he's big into his reality TV stuff and all the other stuff he has his hands into. I'm not so sure how into that recruiting grind he's actually got his hands in. So I don't know if he's necessarily putting the same sort of energy into recruiting the way that the top coaches actually do.
Yeah, that's fair.
We got any headlines today, by the way?
Indeed. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We
no trucks.
Yes, great. I cannot wait to determine what the hell is going on with this double audio here. But in the meantime, we just talked about it. Yesterday was National Signing Day, the first day. I didn't know that there was two. There's another one in February, right?
There's another one in February. And actually, this one, players can still sign until Friday during this signing period. Most of them get it out of the way the first day because it's just, if you've made up your mind, why would you wait till Friday and stuff? But players can sign till Friday. And if they don't sign by Friday, they have a day again. And I think it's like the first Wednesday of February.
We're going to talk more in depth with Alex Donno, the man who knows all that you need to know about the Canes and how they fared yesterday. We talked about the Miami Heat yesterday, who came out atop the Orlando Magic. We have some Miami Dolphins news. I spoke yesterday about how JPP was removed, if you will, from the team after an impressive 5 snaps. Great. Did great.
5 more than me.
I tell you what, I'm gonna get a JPP jersey. See if anyone remembers. But we actually are hosting another feared defensive lineman, a former champion himself. Our boy Ndamukong Suh actually has made a visit back to the facility.
Know that. Wow.
Indeed, yeah. On the other side of the ball, though, those offensive linemen that would be responsible for protecting Tua from the likes of those like Suh. Unfortunately, none of the starting lineup yesterday participated in practice in regards to the offensive line.
Wow.
So the Dolphins yesterday took the field without a starting offensive line, without all-pro receiver Tyreek Hill and Pro Bowl cornerback Xavier Howard. Needless to say, as of right now, the injury bug has bit the Miami Dolphins extremely hard.
The Dolphins have shown this year that they can find a way to win games despite a lot of injuries across the offensive line. I think that unit has been coached pretty well by Butch Berry, and I think McDaniel has done a good job kind of figuring out the depth of his rotation. But I will say this, I don't think the Dolphins are going to beat the Cowboys if Tyreek Hill doesn't play. I mean, I feel like he's going to end up playing. I think that holding him out last week was probably being on the safe side. And if it had been a playoff game or a game like this, the Tyreek probably would have tried to play last week, but they held him out for precaution. But if he doesn't play, listen, I think this Cowboys team, they're always a little bit overrated because they're the Cowboys, and they got just dismantled by the Bills last weekend. That also means they're going to be angry and they're probably going to play better this week by default. But I don't think you're beating that team, Marcos and JFig, if Tyreek Hill doesn't play.
Indeed, we're going to hear a little bit later on from Coach Mike McDaniel, who gave a pretty hilarious response in regards to the status of his offensive line. We got feisty Tua. Tua was getting a little spicy yesterday in his press conference as he addressed the media. We'll be hearing from the Dolphins quarterback as well. And tonight we have some football. Not sure if Thursday night football is something that interests you, but tonight we have the Los Angeles Rams, who have actually been surging as of recently, versus the New Orleans Saints. Does that game tickle your fancy, Don?
Yeah, it does, because if the Saints lose, I can trash talk Dan Day a little bit via text. The fact that the Rams have been surging, I'm probably going to have some bets on that game tonight, Marcos. There is no fantasy implication for me because I did not make the fantasy playoffs. So that ship has sailed. Daily fantasy, maybe. Bets, maybe. And I enjoy, like, after a long day, covering recruiting and all that. And that, of course, the national signing period continues. The same way that I enjoyed my break watching Heat basketball yesterday, my break tonight is going to be watching some Thursday night football.
Excellent, Donna. Hopefully you have your feet up somewhere, kick back, watching the football. And if you're not,
A couple
can also-
adult beverages.
yeah, a couple, just a couple. It's, it's a Thursday. We'll take it light. But the Florida Panthers are also in action tonight. They take on the St. Louis Blues. That's at 7 p.m. And you can catch that right here on 560 WQAM.
Let's make them sing the blues tonight. Anything else?
That concludes our headlines for now, Donno.
All right. Well, I want to get a little bit deeper into this Dolphin stuff, especially this Ndamukong Suh visit. Could you imagine if he winds up back in Aqua and Orange? I mean, I remember when they gave him that essentially quarterback contract years ago. When he came down here for the first stint. Could we be bringing him home? Tobin and Leroy show. I'm happy to be filling in today, looking at the beautiful faces of Marcos and JFig, especially Bob Ross's beautiful face on that sweater of yours, Marcos. We will keep it going right here on AM 560 Sports WQAM.
Studios. Shop exceptional Cadillac offers now with the 3-time Cadillac Dealer of the Year, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Visit EdmoreSawgrassCadillac.com. You're always backed by Morse.
The stone crabs are back, my friend.
This is also mighty loud.
All sizes. You got to go to Delaware.
What's mighty loud?
Market. They have it all now. They have lamb, beef, veal, pork.
In my room.
They have shrimp. They have fish. But right now, those stone crabs. The
Thank you.
chips are delicious. DelawareChicken.com to see the entire menu. Call them in advance at
Do you think he messed with my settings in here?
831. Get your stone crab.
I'm going to come check now.
They can still hear me
Tell them, Crowder.
This is
on the radio.
here for sports, and you always know my suggestion. Make Dave & Buster's in Hollywood your headquarters for football. You know you're going to enjoy watching the games on their 42-foot TV. 42-foot TV, which you've got to see to believe. And how about all-you-can-eat wings? Mondays and Thursdays, 4 p.m. till close during football season, and $3.99 pints during the game. Dave & Buster's in the Oakwood Plaza in Hollywood, just east of I-95.
It's football season, and the NFL is in full effect on the free Odyssey app. We're heading into the final stretch of the regular season, and the playoff picture is starting to come into focus. Whatever team you're rooting for, the free Odyssey app has you covered with the local talk and your team's podcasts. Plus, listen, they have every Sunday night, Monday night. If you're looking for the NFL, it's all on the free Odyssey app. Download it today and search for your favorite team.
Hey guys.
Wendy's Peppermint Frosty and Frosty Cream Cold Brew make the perfect gift for anyone in your life. Especially for
Can you hear that?
this year, you're
Okay, never mind.
getting yourself what you want. Finally. Unlock 20% off your total when you get any
I'm uncomfortable. I'm leaving this room right now.
So order something from your own wish list this year. For that time only, participating U.S. Finance without offer and registration applies to items only. Taxes and fees. On game day, there's nothing like tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made with real fruit tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Get twisted. Find that perfect gift for the holidays. Struggle no more. National Jewelers Exchange. Everybody loves buying jewelry watches of international relocation.
What's better than college and pro football action, girls and beer? Enjoy all the games with hundreds of beautiful exotic referees, cheerleader, and dogs entertainers in Cheetah Hallandale's ultra high-tech sports lounge. Watch the games live and in full sound while you enjoy the coldest beer in town. A complimentary gourmet lunch till 3 p.m. and happy hour special till 6 p.m. daily. Every day in Cheetah Hallandale Beach. Enjoy $100 bottle specials every day until 6 p.m. Visit CheetahHallandaleBeach.com for more info.
University Dodge, Florida's #1 volume Ram truck dealer. During the wrap-up the year event, get up to 15% off MSRP or low APR on select new Ram 1500 trucks between Ribbon and Sterling on University Drive or UniversityDodge.com.
Then it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough. This is Jeff with the Atlantic Business. And if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of these people, change it up. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your TV and restoring your relationship. At the Atlantic Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating people. And as a Promedic restorative health practice, we literally see countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, the treatment's having success rates well over 90%. Coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season, a renewed and restored relationship. You're visiting for blood work, a medical consult, and a medically advised paid testing. Call 877-455-7300 or go to AtlanticMen'sClinic.com. That's AtlanticMen'sClinic.com. We have 6 offices across South Florida to serve. Atlantic Men's Clinic, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Every GM make and model, 22 acres of vehicles, one huge rotation. Rush to Edmore Sawgrass Auto Mall to save on Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Cadillacs. All backed by Morse. Or shop rows of pre-owned vehicles to fit any budget. Plus, we'll be any dealer's new car price. Or we'll refund you up to $7,500. Click EdmoreSawgrass.com. These models, stock vehicles with a 50-mile radius, with daily validated vendors at the best price. Expires 3 days after purchase. See other details.
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of
What's up, Twitch? If you can hear this, I'm going to tell you all the juicy secrets about JFig. Her real last name is Edgar. Boom. Don't know why I said boom. I don't have the solution.
You're sitting on your own mat and getting yourself what you want. Finally. And now every day this season, unlock 20% off your total when you get any small, medium, or large Frosty in the Wendy's app. So order something from your own wish list this year.
Can you hear me?
Tailgating, touchdowns, and Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Twisted Tea goes down smooth and tastes like real iced tea because it's made
Oh, great.
cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea hard iced tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer. Keep it twisted.
Best-selling author, star in a brand new comedy documentary called The Retirement Deception. In the film, you'll see how Wall Street's traditional retirement plans and 401ks have failed. But more importantly, you'll discover the solution to protecting your hard-earned wealth and retiring successfully. You'll see how to grow money potentially double digits to beat inflation.
Yeah, you know what? I hear you clicking, Sergey. How about that? Huh? Huh? Yeah, I can hear you from wherever the hell you're at, Dr. Toboggan.
What's your one thing?
Staples is serious about gaming. And right now, during Staples Holiday Deals, we're even serious.
All right. I think we did it. Donno, how does it sound?
It sounds fantastic. Did you fix it yourself, or did you call A, an engineer, or B, Dan Day, who seems to know how to fix everything?
The answer is neither.
Whoa!
No?
You can hear her. Nice. Okay. The answer is neither, indeed, and we have no feedback.
No.
So
Hey,
we're good.
you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Thank the Lord. Can you hear me?
I
Donno?
can hear everybody. Yeah.
Oh!
I could hear Dr. Toboggan typing too.
Right? So loud with those fingers. Oh my God. That took
That was
a little bit of work.
stressful.
Took a little bit of work there. Really hard to not like. I feel like normally I don't say bad things, but when everyone can hear you when you don't want them to, all I was thinking was bad things.
Yeah.
But we're back. We're live. We're back in action. It is a Tobin and Leroy show here. Alex Donno filling in. JFig and I with our ugly Christmas sweaters, which I want to go back to the origin of the ugly Christmas sweater. Do you think that's what they meant to do? Or do you think they just presented, hey guys, I have this sweater idea, and people are like, brilliant, ugly sweaters. And he's like, I was just going to call them sweaters, but okay.
A lot of the times I feel like they're not even ugly.
Yeah.
I think they're super cute.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing though, you can only wear it like for a Christmas party or on like you can't wear a sweater that looks like that any other occasion of the year. It's strictly a Christmas thing, so it would look ugly any other time. Oh, thank you, Sergey, who says I make those sweaters look pretty. I don't even have I got a stormtrooper t-shirt on.
Maybe he says that you're so good looking that you're able to overcompensate.
I've been told that, yeah.
It's your curse.
Yeah.
I know yesterday Miami Dolphins had some practice. They spoke ahead of their big matchup, like I mentioned earlier. Tua got a little sassy. Mike McDaniel doesn't know what's going on with the offensive line. It's just a normal day here in South Florida, which makes me interested not only to see this game upcoming, but next week's Hard Knocks, dude. I want to see what the hell they're able to capture this week with an entire missing squad. Have you been up to date with the latest Hard Knocks?
No, I'm a couple weeks behind, which I know is embarrassing. I am aware, like people were saying that when Jason Pierre-Paul was on, it was a little awkward, standoffish. Now he's no longer on the team. I wonder if it had anything to do with that. But I'm looking forward to catching up, and I'm looking forward to the next episode because I want to see if Ndamukong Suh makes a cameo. I want to see what's going on with that O-line.
Well, you got to start watching.
Gotta get on, dude. If you can, just go ahead and just announce, this only be between us, what is your password for HBO Max so we can all watch it together?
It's actually called Max now.
Oh, that's right.
Right, just Max.
Cool. It's like Diddy dropping the P.
Mm-hmm.
Just Max now. Donno, we have a lot on our slate today. We took a lot during that commercial break. We added some time just to make sure that everything was sounding good, but just a preview of things to come. Of course, we have our standard cat talk coming, game day uncensored. And I'm only saying this because I was too lazy to write a rundown, which I will now that we.
Yeah, I'm always waiting for my email. Like, when is Marcos going to send the rundown? I keep refreshing my Gmail every 5 minutes and nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna send it this time, but then JFig was cursing. I had to make sure she didn't throw her career away. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was a
I
crazy
appreciate you
experience.
looking out for me like that.
Yep. We will play a few games. You know that whenever your boy is around here driving the bus, I always have to add some shenanigans in. So yesterday we played Guess That Tune. It was a bit more difficult than I wanted it to
nailed
be,
it,
but
by the
JFig
way.
nailed it. Today we got some other Christmas related games. We will be playing Christmas Family Feud.
Okay.
And then today we will determine whether or not a few items give us Goosies or no Goosies. And Donno, as a fellow degenerate, I will need your help in some gambling exploits.
I love how Marcos has been like gambling for like 3 days, and he's dove headfirst into it.
Money. I don't.
He's talking about VIGs during the break. He's talking about how the lines can move every 5 minutes. He's refreshing his page. Like he is all in.
Yeah, I'm all in. I don't know. I've become obsessed with the idea of I can spend $10 and potentially win 200, but I haven't become obsessed with the idea of actually, receiving the 200. I'm more obsessed with the potential. That's
right,
usually
exactly.
And the chili pepper.
Oh, the chili pepper. They do this thing on my app, Donno. They add a little
yeah?
chili pepper next to certain bets, which multiplies the potential outcome. I'm all about the potential.
I love those.
It goes from like yesterday, for example, they had a special. Sometimes they throw you a bone. Damn them and their usage of emojis. They throw you a bone emoji next to one of the things. It was De'Aaron Fox, higher or lower than 0.5 points. I mean, all he had to do was score.
Right, it's a freebie. Yeah.
How can I not select that?
Can I tell you a quick story about how deep I used to be into it? I don't gamble nearly as much, but about 3 years ago, and this was before, because we have now like a legal sports betting app in Florida we can use. I was using a certain offshore site a few years ago. And I was probably, I don't know, placing 10 to 15 small money, but placing probably 10 to 15 bets per day on a pretty steady basis.
Wow.
At a certain point, I decided for whatever reason to take a break for like 3 days. Like I just maybe I was losing too much, maybe I was waiting on my next paycheck, whatever it was. I decided to take a break for like 3 days. 36 hours into my hiatus, I get an email from like my account manager from that site, like asking if I was okay, because they hadn't heard from me in 36. So like they were basically checking in to make sure I wasn't dead, because they're like, if this guy who's placing 10 to 15 bets per day, if we don't know where this dude is, we better make sure we don't need to alert the authorities. Like I got a personal email from a guy asking me if I was okay. They would have noticed if I was gone before my wife. Like if I had disappeared, they would have known I was gone before my wife.
That's good, man. That's good. I'm glad that they checked in on you, though. That's very nice, for sure. I'd spend more money just because of that.
Yeah, I stuck with them for a while.
Oh, fading fig. I remember that.
I think that was during the fade fig era. That was that was why I was so active.
You had talked to me about it.
Yeah, I was so active on there because I was fading fig.
Were you ever in the
He
green?
wants so much money because of me.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, anyone I know who like is a gambler, the best they've done is broken even. That's the
Pretty
best.
much, yeah. Right. Well, because even if you have like a good week, if you go back and like you track your long-term progress, like, okay, I just had a green week, but let me see how I've done over the past 3 months. If you zoom out, you're almost always in the red in the big picture.
See, that's why I only go $10 at a time.
Oh, but yeah, I go small, very small. Me as well.
Still, I've done about 33 $10 at a time, and I've maybe only won once.
Wow.
But big money, baby, right around the corner. I can feel it.
You have a gambling problem, but not an addiction. Ooh. You're just bad at it. Is your problem?
Yeah, I guess it's a problem more than an addiction. Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, you'd imagine you call one of those 1-800 numbers, and they're like, "Sir, what is your problem?" You go like, "I'm not addicted. I can't. Can you help me win a bet, please?" Mm-hmm. Like 1-800, need help or whatever. Like, I just need to win a bet. Can you give me some advice?
We actually have one. Someone sent a number.
Oh yeah, they have helplines for sure. Yeah.
The problem is when I call the gambling hotline, I'm actually betting the over under of rings before they answer. So that
Wow.
just adds to the problem. Really just adds to it.
There you go. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's do our best to avoid messages from JFig in the chat that say break. And instead, we'll go ahead and send it to break. When we come back, Donno, if you can, please give us a small taste of what the Hurricanes were able to accomplish yesterday. Is that possible?
It is 1,000% possible. We will do it.
We got that and much more on the Tobin and Leroy show here on 560 WQAM.
me back though, Santa. I make my runs about the break of day.
Welcome back to the Tobin Leroy Show. Donno, can you please inform me what happened yesterday with the Miami Hurricanes? I need to know how much better we are than the Florida State Seminoles and the Florida Gators.
Based on recruiting rankings, Miami had a better day than both Florida State and Florida yesterday. Miami has now the number 3 class in the country. Florida State is down to number 9, and Florida, I believe, is number 16. They fell out of the top 15 yesterday. Bums, right? Now, listen, I know some of you who are, not into high school recruiting, and I get it. You're like, well, how many of these players really pan out? Is this really going to matter? How much better is this going to make Miami? Whether you're invested in high school recruiting or not, I will say that the teams that have been in recent history having the most success, right? When you talk about the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States of the world, Clemson had a really good run. They're in, by their standards, they're on a little bit of a down period. But these teams that have really dominated in the college football playoff era have been stacking top 5, top 3, top recruiting classes consistently, right? When you can stack those consecutive classes. So I think that Marcos, as someone who covers the Miami Hurricanes, what impresses me the most is not only, Miami locking in a top 3 class, but consecutive top 7 classes, because you need to continue stacking these classes. And we're already seeing some of the true freshmen who came in last year in an excellent class of 2023. Guys like Ruben Bain on the defensive line, CeCe Mauinoa on the offensive line, Mark Fletcher at running back had really good seasons and played a lot as true freshmen last year and made an impact. And I think there's a handful of guys in this 2024 recruiting class who can do the same thing. Last year, Miami got 2 5-stars on the offensive line. This year, Miami gets 2 5-stars on the defensive line, which is a really important area because the Canes didn't have a whole lot of depth there. So the headliners for this class of 2024 are 5-star defensive tackle Justin Scott, who's out of Chicago. Was big for Miami to go in there and get this kid who had been committed to Ohio State, and Miami flipped him. And Miami keeps another top defensive lineman in the area, 5-star defensive lineman Armando Blunt, who's from Miami Central, same high school that Ruben Bain went to. He was committed to Florida State for the past couple months. He flipped back to Miami yesterday. There's a handful of other really, really important players in this class. Marquise Lightfoot, an edge rusher, defensive end, who's another one out of Chicago. Miami did really well in Chicago this year. He's a high-level 4-star, borderline 5-star. Jason Taylor had a big hand in his recruitment to bring him down to Miami. And one of the most high-profile topics yesterday was, the last-minute chase for Jeremiah Smith. Miami ultimately loses out to Ohio State there, but the Hurricanes still do land a really good wide receiver class, the best one that I can remember. It's been a long time since Miami's gotten 3 receivers at this level. 4-star, borderline 5-star out of Chaminade Madonna, same high school as Jeremiah Smith. Miami gets JoJo Trader, who's a top receiver. Chance Robinson out of St. Thomas Aquinas is one of the best receivers in the class. And this kid out of Georgia, Nye Carr, who's another borderline 5-star guy, high-level 4-star, is really explosive. They bring him in as well. And a local safety, Zaquan Patterson, I think is someone who can get on the field really quickly. He's really impressive, another Chaminade guy. So Miami did really well. And, it's the thing. And again, the on-season results last year were disappointing to a lot of people, myself included. 7-5, it was better than the year before, of course, but, everyone regrets Mario not taking that knee against Georgia Tech. It should have been 8-4 at the very least. Probably would have been even better than that had Miami thrown a few less interceptions last year. But to be able to take, an up and down, somewhat disappointing season on the field and secure, one of the top recruiting classes in the country for the second straight year, this sort of talent acquisition, that's how you win in the long term. Right. So I think it's a really good sign. And at the end of the day, Marcos and JFig, Miami does land not only the top recruiting class in the state of Florida, they're ahead of Florida State, Florida, UCF, USF, whoever else you can think about, FIU, FAU, all that. But the Hurricanes also, for the second straight year, finished National Signing Day with the best class in the ACC, which is another important factor. Better recruiting class than Florida State, Clemson, and everybody else in the conference. So I'm happy today.
Donald, from time to time, I'm not sure if you have like a ghost hype man, but I see like a thumbs up appear behind you for some reason.
Yeah, try that when you put your thumb up on StreamYard.
Whoa, my
Yeah.
God. What?
It's magic. Does it work for you guys? Why does that only work
Are you
for
using
me?
Apple or using Apple?
Apple. Maybe that's what it is.
That's why.
What?
And also, I think when I do like a peace sign, balloons come. Yeah, see that? Look at that.
I think if you do this, try doing this.
I don't. Hold on. Why am I?
On the camera. Hold the camera, sir. There you go.
What's going on with that?
That, or is it?
That looks like you're ready for
No.
Rockville.
Nothing's happening there. What if I throw up the U? Does anything happen?
That would be really cool
look.
if it did.
No,
No.
nothing.
Yeah, that's
Nothing.
crazy. Donna,
But yeah.
really, really, really broken it down in a way that makes me feel comfortable going to this year. I know it hasn't been close between us, although the game was kind of close. I'm just meaning the competition between us and the Seminoles. They've clearly been the better of the two teams. Now I feel like with these young players beginning to, like you said, stack up with these recruiting classes. We've been at the top of the recruiting class before that, the Ja'Cory Harris Northwestern class that we had, but I don't know if we've quite stacked a few really good classes. So look, you can say what you want about Mario Cristobal not being able to kneel the ball when he needs to, and a couple other questionable decisions he may have made. But one thing that man can do is recruit. And like you mentioned, with some of the signings that we got last year, he's done a good job at fixing the trenches.
Yes.
We're on the way to where we need to be. I know it's hard because Miami Hurricanes have been waiting for quite some time, and it seems like every opportunity we get to say the U is back, we do. But I really do feel like with these classes that Mario's been able to stack up, and with the help of Jason Taylor, like you said, he was talking on Joe Rose this morning about the value of Jason Taylor and how he has nothing to prove, yet he's still out here doing what he needs to as if he has everything to prove. And that's already showing dividends. So I'm excited to see this class go based off how you're talking about them. I'm hyped, dude. I'm hyped more than
and the next thing, so obviously the way it goes these days in college football, of course, is the bread and butter is high school recruiting and stacking classes, but there's so many opportunities in the transfer portal to plug, basically plug holes and duct tape a few areas like really quickly, like, Florida State, who just had an incredible year. And, for as much as I'm not, a Florida State guy, I thought they should have gotten into the college football playoff. I actually felt some sympathy or some empathy for them. So they had a great team and a great season last year. And a lot of that was built through the transfer portal, right? I mean, Keon Coleman, even their star quarterback, Jordan Travis, was a guy who did transfer in a couple of years ago, and Johnny Wilson transferred in a couple of years ago. So they've done a great job kind of plugging holes through the transfer portal. Miami's trying to do a combination of both. So then the thing that we're all waiting for to decide, hey, is Miami going to be like a 10 or 11 win type team next year or an 8 or 9 win type team? They've still got to find a quarterback. And they're competing with Florida State for Cam Ward, who's the top transfer portal quarterback from Washington State. He's taking his time. He's going through his process. He's not letting anybody rush him on making a decision. And, a couple weeks ago, he made an official visit to Miami. And then right after that, he made an official visit to Florida State. He's weighing his options. And whoever gets that dude is going to have a big advantage because obviously, as Florida State showed us with Jordan Travis, you get a dynamic quarterback in there that can be, even though they're losing some of their other guys, like their receivers are no longer going to be there, but that can be a really great team again if FSU can find the right quarterback. And I feel the same way about Miami. They're going to have one of the better offensive lines in the country, one of the better defensive lines in the country. If they can find the right quarterback, we could be talking about at least competing for the ACC championship.
Listen, Cam, can I call you Cam? Can I call him Cam?
You can call him Cam or Cameron, call him something.
Do you want the illustrious beaches? Do you want Space Nightclub? Or do you want Zaxby's? That's really your option here.
Zaxby's and Guthrie's.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what are we really doing here? What is the choice? Huh? You want that? Or do you want JFig and Marcos in the mornings? Like, come on, dude. It's an easy
That's
option.
an easy option.
Yeah, easy.
We're gonna go ahead and catch up on the other side. Our Tua's coming up next. We're going to hear from the Dolphins quarterback, Dolphins head coach, and a couple other characters ahead of this big matchup on Christmas Eve. I think the audio's fixed, right? I think we're all good here. Everyone is safe. Everyone is sound. Now let's go ahead and get into the second hour of the show right here on 560 WQAM.
It's time for our Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tagovailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Christians can go to hell. Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins quarterback. I love Christmas.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of food. Our Tua on the program.
Did you see Tua's younger brother? He opted out of Maryland's bowl game. I think it's because he's getting ready to go pro. Because people are, well, can he hit the transfer portal? I think he's out of eligibility, so he's going to try to go pro. I say the Dolphins bring him in. I don't know if he'll get drafted. He'd be a late round draft pick, maybe an undrafted free agent. Bring him in to be the third quarterback. Bring both Tagovailoa brothers in.
Hell yeah. What? I mean, look, I've seen enough of Mike White. I think everybody has.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's a fun guy. Great. Love him. Local boy. I'm not going to go as far as Tobin, who says that he wishes Mike White zero success this year.
Why does he say that?
Because he wants Tua to have all the success. And if we see Mike White in the game having success, that means Tua is injured or not doing well.
I see. Okay. I mean, that makes sense, actually, right? Because we've had to rely too much on backup quarterbacks the last couple of years, and by and large, they've let us down. I mean, Jacoby Brissett a couple of years ago, bum. Teddy Bridgewater last year, sorry, bum last
Retiring
year.
at the end of the year. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Finally hanging up the cleats.
Okay.
It is a special edition of the Tobin and Leroy show because our boy Alex Donno is stepping in, holding it down. Leroy is having surgery today, so we got to check in on him. I believe
it's that thumb.
It's not. This time it is a meniscus.
Oh man.
Yes, it is a meniscus that he is repairing, which I don't know. That's your knee, I think, right?
Yeah, it is definitely the knee. Yeah.
Cool. It's attached to the wiggle bone, if I'm not mistaken.
The wiggle bone.
Yes, the coveted wiggle bone.
I never listened during that party class.
Yeah. Which
I think he learned that from the game Operation is where he learned that.
And if you touch the side of the wiggle bone, it buzzes. Yeah, it's bad, really bad. So stay away from that. We send prayers out to Leroy. Hopefully everything goes smooth. And our boy Tobin is enjoying the holidays already, as he should.
Right.
So it is the gang here holding things down. I'm ready to give you some headlines presented by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store, Palmetto Ford?
We know trucks.
We talked about it briefly in the first hour. The Miami Heat were able to topple the Orlando Magic yesterday in Orlando, but you'll never know that it was Orlando because there was more let's go Heat chance than there was anything else.
But the Miami Heat, they really are Florida's team. Like I went to years ago, I went to a Heat Magic game in Orlando. The Heat actually lost that game that I went to, but I can remember being at that arena. It was not a bad arena there, but it was like 75% Heat fans in there. I'm like, wow, I feel like it's all like there are more Heat fans at Orlando Magic home games than there are sometimes Heat fans at home games against the Knicks when all those New York transplants get in there. Like the Heat take over that arena in Orlando.
Yeah. I mean, look, Orlando's full with transient people. You know, no one's from Orlando except for actually me. I was born in Orlando and a lot of
overlooked that one.
A lot of my family is from Orlando. The holidays I will be in Orlando. I go there often, which is why I can say no one's from Orlando, dude. Like, what are we really doing here? There's a bunch of people from out of state, and if you're gonna choose to vote for anyone or cheer anyone on, chances are you're gonna go with the team that has 4 championships. I'm losing count here. Too many championships. 3? No. See, but there was an asterisk on the there was an asterisk on the 2020 pandemic one, so we kind of got half the championship there. And then last year there was something fishy. I'm not sure. There was something we need to check Joker for performance enhancing drugs. So I'm going to add an asterisk there as well. So I think we have like 3.75 championships if that adds up.
I like that math.
The Heat, like I said yesterday, were able to pull it off. Although it got much closer than we needed it to in the fourth quarter, getting to, I think it was like within like 8 points, 5 points. It was too close. How about that? It was too close after being up by much. Do you know who I think the X factor is, though, if I had to be honest?
Jaime?
No, because Jaime yesterday also let me down, if I had to be honest. I think he was his over and under was set at like 13.5 or something like that.
Yeah, he scored 10
points in 34 minutes. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, dude? Get him off the team, Donovan Mitchell.
Wow.
No, I love
you know
him.
what? Why don't you go ahead and mark that for later?
Yeah, no, I don't know. The audio is messed up. It's
Yeah,
double.
well, guess
Can't
what?
really-
I'm gonna mark it.
Okay, great. Yesterday though, it was the return of the locksmith, Haywood Highsmith. Did you know that was his nickname, the locksmith?
I have heard. I think I heard it on this show before. Who did Tobin make that up? Did you make that up?
No,
Where
it's
did that
not
one come
me,
from?
Tobin. Tobin makes
always
things
Tobin.
up. Yeah, he's always making things up. So it's probably him. But Haywood Highsmith yesterday had an excellent performance. You know, he's been dealing with an injury. And the reason why I bring up this random role player is because that hot streak that we had when Tyler Hero was out started with Haywood Highsmith being inserted into the lineup. He had some injuries that he missed time, but yesterday, 30 minutes, 4 of 9 from the 3-point line, including 2 steals, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's something that we've seen from him in regards to being able to turn around that defensive pressure. He has that on-ball pressure that no one else really in the Miami Heat has. And that was really where things turned out, because in the second quarter, it was close. Things were still pretty close, as they shouldn't have. And the Magic even took the lead for a little bit, but it wasn't until our boy, the locksmith, came in and showed why yet another gem has been found by the Miami Heat. With all these injuries that we're sustaining, it's always good to see these role players stepping up. In other news, tonight we have the Florida Panthers that will be starting 7 p.m. right here on 560 WQAM against the St. Louis Blues. Things have been kind of rough. That West Coast trip that the Panthers took recently.
Yeah, that was rough. I think I might have been the jinx because I worked a few of those broadcasts because I don't think Kevin Rogers likes to stay up like past 10 o'clock. Neither do I, by the way. I don't like to stay up past 10 either. But I filled in for those games, and every time I worked the game, the Panthers lost 4-0. It was not a good streak. I apologize to Doug Plagans. I apologize to Sergei Bobrovsky. He was like, so it's your fault, guy. I don't like losing game because some guy on radio bring bad luck to Sergei Bobrovsky. He was not happy with me.
You and Tobin are mushes.
Yeah,
wow, mushes, huh? It's okay. I don't necessarily blame you. I think it's clear. Kevin Rogers is the problem.
He might be the problem. Him not wanting to stay up past 10 o'clock might be the issue.
That's the issue, dude. That is the absolute issue there. In other news, I was mentioning before, the Miami Dolphins met with the media yesterday, a few members, including the quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. Our boy. It is indeed our Tua. So how crazy will we be to not have any Tua in our Tua? Did you catch any of the press conference, Donno?
I did not, so I will be hearing this. This will be my maiden voyage.
Oh, look at that word choice! Look at that maiden voyage.
I'm going on a cruise in a few weeks, so I have to have my nautical. I've got to have my nautical lingo ready, right? Because I'm that guy. I'm going to get on the cruise ship. I'm going to be wearing like boat shoes, and I'm going to be wearing a captain's hat. I'm going to have my nautical puns ready.
You're not going to be wearing a captain's hat. You're going to be wearing a King's hat. We know this.
I'll be wearing an orange and green captain's hat.
Oh, okay. See, okay. Look, I don't want to expose your whereabouts to anyone that may be trying to claw your eyes out for any reason. But what's going on, man? Is this like a Royal Caribbean or kind of vacation?
It's a Royal Caribbean, and it's going to be so this is going to be an interesting vacation because it's going to be one of those, like, we're going to be that family who's doing a cruise with like 20 extended family members all showing up.
I love doing that.
There was a conversation that was had and quickly shot down about having matching family reunion t-shirts.
Yes.
No, we're not doing. And you know who shot it down? God bless him. My father immediately, somebody in our family group chat proposed matching t-shirts.
Yeah.
He was like the iceberg to the Titanic. He completely sunk that idea, which I'm happy about. But here's the other part. You see, obviously there's going to be a lot of kids there. I think it's going to be like maybe 25 people all in my extended family. And here's the other thing that got shot down. I was already shopping the deals for the alcoholic beverage package.
Yes.
And my wife, basically, it's either I get the beverage package and get a divorce, or I don't get the package and my marriage will live to see another day, because she's like, she knows me. She's like, you're not going to be drunk the entire time, watching our son and all these other kids. So I'm not going to be able to get the extra beverage alcoholic.
What are you trying to say about your tolerance here?
Yeah, doesn't she know?
No, my tolerance is good. I think that's part of the problem. She knows that with my tolerance, I'm gonna get every cent of my money's worth on that package. I think she understands that.
See, that's what I was going to explain to you. In order to get your money's worth in that package, I think I did the math. You need to have a drink every 17 minutes.
No, basically, no, it's $82 a day, the package.
Yeah, for sure. And then the thing is, like, it's why I appreciate the package. I think there's a one that doesn't include alcohol. If I'm not mistaken, they have like a little Starbucks on the Royal Caribbean.
That's
so
the one I'm getting. I'm getting the one that doesn't include the
They
alcohol.
have that now?
Yeah.
With Starbucks?
They have a Starbucks.
Frappuccinos.
No, I've seen the Starbucks, but I didn't know they had a package with the Starbucks.
Yeah, you can get a little frappes if you like. So that's cool. That's the one that I'm good for. But other than that, you can allegedly, go with the whole mouthwash thing, or I got these things off Amazon allegedly that were shampoo bottles that come with seals.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell me more. Okay.
So the shampoo bottle comes empty. It's large. It's enough to fit a 750 milliliter bottle, allegedly.
Send me that link later.
I definitely will. It comes with resealable seals that you put on there, allegedly. And it totally works. You got sunscreen bottles, you got shampoo bottles. And then you're allowed to bring a bottle as well. You're allowed to bring like a wine or champagne or something like that.
You are, but they don't like I had a whole plan. I was gonna bring because I've got a mixer, like I make my own cocktails at home. I was gonna bring like various ingredients, but then I read the policy you cannot bring like hard liquor. Like you can bring a couple bottles of wine, or you can't bring hard liquor with you.
Yeah, allegedly. But
allegedly, yeah.
But one of the things too, you got to watch out, because they tell you can bring your wine, right? But God forbid you try to bust that wine open out in the dinner. They're like, "Oh, that's cute, sir.
Right.
$15 fee, huh?
Right. The corking fee.
Like, what the hell are we even doing here?" But yeah, man, look, I love cruises. I worked on a
Bring
cruise
your
ship.
own cork fruit thing. Yeah, there you go.
They're not charging you to open that. Of course, you can bring your own, but they're still going to be like, if you drink it in this place, we're charging.
Right. Yeah, you have to like drink it in your room, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, excellent.
Or
man.
in your wife's bracelet. Allegedly.
Allegedly. What about how long? I don't want any more details. I know.
It's a quicker one. It's like, I want to say it's 4 nights. It's a 4-night cruise, and then the whole thing again. Like, we're meeting a bunch of family members, and I've got like it's like the Griswold like my immediate family, very normal. The extended family, they've got some quirks. Okay, like they live. This is my mom's side of the family. They live in North Carolina. They do not. I think they're afraid of planes. Like, they don't like to fly in planes, so they only drive everywhere. So we have to. So our cruise is going out from Port Canaveral, because they're like, they draw the line at like, they will not drive past Canaveral. So it's like the Port of Miami, Port Everglades was out. So I got to drive up to Port Canaveral because other people are driving down from North Carolina to take the cruise. It's a whole thing.
I gotcha. That's okay, though. That's fun. And I was going to say the perfect amount of days is actually 4, because like a 2-day cruise, too quick. 7-day cruise. By day 6, you're like, I want to get the hell home.
Yeah, by day 6, I'm fat
about
and I've
cruise
lost all my
cruises.
money in the casino. Yeah.
Oh yeah, casino. Don't even
Yeah.
start it on that. Now that I know that I can gamble, not well, but like it's a thing that I do. Yeah, I'm actually not looking forward to that because I know that I'm probably gonna lose all my money.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you the best, Donno. I wish you the best. Someone who I hope cruises through the Cowboys defense is Tua. He spoke yesterday. He says he determined how much he can take from the Bills' victory over the Cowboys. As you know, the Cowboys were dominated by the Bills, run all over. But Tua is here revealing exactly how much he can take from that win, or whether he can just take it with a grain of salt.
I don't necessarily look at one particular game when we watch games, but you do want to look at games that where they struggled, what were their struggles, things that we can take advantage of, within the pass game, the run game. But I sort of think of our team last week coming off the loss to Tennessee. I can sense that that's where they would probably be. Not a very fun team meeting to be in. And guys are going to be dialed in, locked in, doing whatever they need to do to get that feeling, off their chest or off their shoulders. And so for me, we're going to prepare the same way we've prepared for any other team. So we're expecting their best. They're going to do anything and everything they can, to beat us. And we're going to do the exact same.
Look, I know you can't judge it off of one game, but I think some things were exposed last week with the Bills running all over the Cowboys. Of course, you got to look at all the weeks, but I think you just kind of look at it and say, I think we can have success in the run game.
Yeah, and the Dolphins, they have had success there. I mean, I think they're top of the league in average yards per carry, basically top of the league in most running categories this year, which has been a nice surprise because during the offseason, we were talking about which running backs Miami should be trying to sign or trade for. And, with this combination with touchdown machine Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane and Jeff Wilson, this has worked out just fine. So, yeah, you should be able to run against that team.
An interesting thing, I think this happens a lot in the NFL, is the Cowboys happen to be Tua's favorite team when he was growing up, and now he has an opportunity to stuff them and really break that narrative that has been surrounding the Dolphins. This is what Tua had to say in regards to his childhood favorite team, the Cowboys.
Cowboys are my favorite team growing up. They played on primetime a lot, and in Hawaii, prime time is like 3:00 p.m. You're like, dang, it's night over there. It's like the sun is still up over here. So yeah, I come from a family that they're big Cowboys fans. But not anymore. Not anymore. Everyone's Dolphins fans. And then the ones who still support the Cowboys, they're probably not my family anyways.
That's a shot.
I tell you what, and that's a nice little preview here. We're up against it, so we'll take it to break. But when we come back, that is a preview of what we have to come here, because Tua yesterday, he went from this normal, reserved, sweet Tua that we know, that loves Christmas and loves his teammates, to spicy. Tua's keeping all the receipts. We're going to hear from that and more when we come back on the other side, right here on 560 WQAM.
Mr. Grinch, you really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Which one was him? Which one was me? Did you guys know? Did you notice?
That wasn't all you?
That was good.
Bill. I know the top 4 Christmas movies of all time. Highest selling. Let's hear it. Go.
Ooh, highest selling. Okay. There's got to be a Home Alone in there somewhere.
See, he has the same thought
No,
process.
I mean
as me.
it's the right choice. It really is the right choice.
See, like thing is, like I don't because there's a lot of these like rom-coms that come out that I'm not really into that. But like for Die Hard, I mean, do you consider that a Christmas movie? That's got to be. I've already watched that this holiday season. I love Die Hard.
Have you? And do you after watching it most recently? Do you consider it a
Absolutely. It takes place on Christmas Eve. They're at a Christmas party when the whole thing happens. There's a bunch of references to Christmas. The reason why Bruce Willis is even in the movie in the first place is he's traveling over there to see his kids on Christmas. It's 100%. It's a Christmas movie. 100%.
You sold me on that one.
Yeah.
People always debated, but I've actually never seen Die Hard.
Oh, what are you doing, man? It's a great. No, it's honestly, I've probably watched Die Hard is the type of action movie. It holds up.
That was
yes, it absolutely holds up. And you can really you can watch it once, twice a year, and it never gets old. Like there's just so many good iconic parts and lines in Die Hard. I highly recommend you watch.
I think I may make some time for Die Hard this year, just because. Might as well
watch it on Christmas.
You're the only one who's actually sold me on it. Because
yeah, for sure.
People
right?
will talk about it, and they wouldn't have compelling arguments as to why it's a Christmas movie.
For sure.
But you did that.
For sure.
I mean, the only argument against it being a Christmas movie is when it came out in 1988, it did come out in the summer, but it's set on Christmas and like everything about it is Christmas. It wasn't released on Christmas, but you know, that was probably before either of you were born anyway, so don't even worry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. But look, someone who loves Christmas, our boy Tua.
I love Christmas.
I know you. You said you haven't seen any of the Hard Knocks yet, right?
No, I saw the first couple of episodes.
Okay.
I'm way behind.
Super excited about it being decked out.
Did you see him decorating the quarterback room with loads? Yeah, this guy loves Christmas.
I remember him doing that last year, and last year he did some pressers in an ugly sweater.
Yeah, look, this guy is clearly a fan of Christmas.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gives us all a Christmas gift that isn't Cole this year. But he does seem to be potentially on the naughty list with how he was spazzing out yesterday. Me personally, though, I was a fan of it. Anytime I can see Tua show a little bit of emotion, give me anything other than quarterback talk, I love it, dude. He's one of the most polarizing figures to ever come out of college football. And for some reason, this guy is a talking point. No matter what, every week, everyone has to check on what is Tua doing. Although no one has mentioned, knock on wood, how healthy he's been this year and how he's on the longest streak of his entire career in regards to playing. There's a few other things they've been saying about him, but have no fear. Tua has been keeping receipts. This is what the quarterback had to say.
Like I keep saying, everyone wants to make this about me, about Tyreek. Like, please keep pushing it to Tyreek. Like, make it about Tyreek. I understand that my platform and who I am in this league as a quarterback makes me, if you want, polarizing, whether I'm the best, whether I'm the worst. Like, I could care less. Like, I don't listen to it. This is my bearer of bad news. And Nolan. I hate to say it. I hate to say that, but that's my bearer of bad news. If anyone has something to, if anyone has something bad to say about me, but at the end of the day, like I really don't care. But if she does share it with me, I mean, I keep receipts. We all have a way of how we do things, but like all the narratives about it, I am only good with Tyreek, and that you're right. That is the only time I'm at my best. You're right. I'm only good when Jalen's in. I could care less about it. Like, sure, if Jalen and those guys aren't out, like, I'm only as good as Raheem Mostert allows me to be. Like, that's what the narrative needs to be. And we're able to win games and we're able to go where we want to go as a team. I am the worst football player if that's what you want. Like, I don't care. Like, I really don't. So whatever it is, whatever you need on your show, like, take clips out of what I just said. Do what you need to do. Like that. I'm just here to do my job, and my job is to help our guys win games.
Wow.
That was great.
Wow.
I would have said the same thing.
Look at that, dude.
And a lot of that, I know that this is not the only one, but a lot of that has to be directed at Stephen A. Smith, who he kept standing. That asinine comment he made about how, like, Tua only throws it 2 yards and then Tyreek Hill gets all the rest in yak. But even as he was saying that, they were showing a clip behind him of Tua throwing it 50 yards through the air to Tyreek Hill. It's like, it's insane. And like, I don't, the weird thing about this is people are so selective with that narrative about receivers making quarterbacks better because they only seem to use that with Tua. Like, they seem to disregard, other great quarterbacks over time that have had great supporting casts. I mean, do you think Troy Aikman is going to be winning Super Bowls if he wasn't playing with the other triplets, if he didn't have Michael Irvin and a great receiving core and Emmitt Smith? It's like, there's nothing wrong with having great talent around you. People only seem to use that as an asterisk when they're talking about Tua Tagovailoa. Like, would Tua not be as successful if he didn't have Tyreek Hill and didn't have Jalen Waddle? No, I don't think he would. And listen, to me, I do think the best quarterback in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes, in my humble opinion. He can definitely, and he used to play with Tyreek Hill. I believe Mahomes can do more potentially with less than a lot of other NFL quarterbacks can, but you don't think, you don't notice his numbers have taken a dip when he has been playing without Tyreek Hill the last couple of years. And, when Travis Kelce's been a little bit inconsistent at times this year, they've lost some games they shouldn't have lost. So, I stand with Tua on that one. And I know people will remind me, they will never let me forget about this, that I used to be a pretty strong skeptic on Tua. And I admit that. I also admit he's proven me wrong in a lot of ways. And I'm happy he's doing well because I'm a Miami Dolphins fan at the end of the day.
That's, up until you mentioned that, I forgot you were a Tua hater, Donno. I forgot. Yeah. But you know what? We've forgiven you. We don't blame you. JFig hasn't forgiven you, but
and maybe if Tua is saving all these receipts, Tua may not have forgiven me, and that's fine. Like, if he doesn't want to forgive me, I'm sure he doesn't care about me. I'm not trying to inflate my ego or anything. But if Tua has any Donno receipts saved, that's fine. At the end of the day, I want you to do well because I'm a Miami Dolphin fan and I want this team to win a Super Bowl for the first time in my lifetime.
Yeah. No, I was speaking yesterday about how my Dolphin fandom began with Jay Fiedler. That is when I became a Dolphin fan. I saw zero.
Not terrible.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't terrible. But didn't we play that he wasn't bad, he wasn't terrible game for 20 years?
Yes, we did.
Wasn't that the narrative every single time? Yeah. Chad Henne, not bad, not terrible. Ryan Tannehill, not bad, not terrible. Dante Culpepper, not bad, not like how many times have we said that? This is the first time we've had an opportunity to say, I think we actually got something here. And we almost squandered that. I think when he talks about the receipts, he's not only talking about the media, he's talking about, the previous administration, how Flores made him feel. And I think there'd be no Tua that we see today without Mike McDaniel. It's obvious. It's obvious not only the confidence he's instilled with him, to be that quarterback that's more vocal and be and trust his talents. I just think right now that mentality of like, I really don't care, man. I'm just gonna go out and be me is something that the head coach has brought. And it's paying dividends. It really is, regardless of whether or not, Stephen A. Smith wants to say he just dinks and dumps, regardless of whether or not Micah Parsons says that he can be the quarterback in Miami if all he's doing is throwing bubble screens, and regardless if Cam Newton thinks that he's a game changer, all this naysaying continues to pop up, and all Tua does is just let it fall right to the wayside. So, it's something that I can directly accredit to Mike McDaniel, and I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't.
By the way, I just got a text message from a buddy of mine who actually he used to work at the station years ago. And because he heard you say that your Dolphin fandom started with Jay Fiedler, and he goes, Jay Fiedler, what is this guy, 20?
Well, I'm 30, so I saw like maybe like a little bit of Dan Marino, but
you were too young to appreciate it, though. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I didn't see. And you know what? Don't yell at me, sir. All right.
It's not your fault you were born 10 years too late.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do here? I can't control time. When we come back, we're going to hear from the head coach, Mike McDaniel, who addressed the many, many injuries the Dolphins are facing. We'll see how that affects the team this upcoming Sunday. We'll hear from him and much, much more when we come back on the other side here on 560 WQAM.
Shake a hand now. No, 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 no.
That was also me singing. Not sure if you guys noticed that too. And no.
But by the way, you teased me last segment asking me what I think were the top 4 box. Like, do you have the answer to what the top 4 grossing Christmas movies are?
Yes, and this is where it gets crazy, right? It's actually consisted of the same movie, right? 4 times. Or not the same movie, the same 2 movies.
Okay.
The first one being Grinch, the second one being Home Alone, the third one being Home Alone 2, and the fourth one being Grinch again.
Oh man. Yeah, they keep remaking the Grinch. Yeah, like every couple of years there's a new one, it seems like.
Well, lucky for them, the one that I thought was going to be the top spot was the one with Jim Carrey. In my opinion,
that's the best one.
The best one. The one instead that is the top spot is a Grinch that was released in 2018, not that long ago, the cartoon version.
Yeah, I remember. I watched like half. It's all right. I watched like half of it with my kid last week because it happened to be on TV. We sat and watched it for a little bit. Like it's fine. Like obviously I'm partial to the original one just because that's what I grew up watching on TV over and over and over again. But yeah, I mean, my kid was like hypnotized by this thing, so they know how to get the children engaged watching that movie.
It's the colors.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
We heard from Tua in the last segment as he got a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
Ahead of his matchup against the Cowboys. He's done with it. He doesn't care. Whatever you want to say, by all means, at this point for him. We also got to hear from Mike McDaniel yesterday as he addressed the media. And boy, oh boy, can that man talk. You know what? I found out what his problem was. And you've probably noticed this from the little bit that you've watched Hard Knocks. The guy's got a potty mouth.
Yeah.
The man has a potty mouth.
Every 5 words.
Yep.
So with the ums and the pauses that he gives during his post game and his meetings with the media, I think it's obvious to say that he's just trying not to curse all over air. So I can appreciate that, but we have one of his long-winded responses here. Probably break this up into 2. The Miami Dolphins, as you know, have had 4 losses this year against 3 of them being against teams with a winning record, which has hurt the narrative for the Miami Dolphins that they cannot beat a good team. And then the last one, a major collapse on Monday night in prime time against the Tennessee Titans. So Mike McDaniel was asked, what has these losses taught him? And he was able to give us a response that only Mick coaching could give us, which means long-winded as hell. This is the coach.
What do you think, the 4 losses as kind of like a whole have taught this team as you look ahead to this weekend and the 3-game finish?
Well, each is unique to itself. Each came at a different stage in the season, and I think each has been extremely valuable. The first one, we were riding the high of a rare, I think 50-point margin of victory, and we experienced humility, not because it was out of lack of respect or it was just a unique experience for that to go from that high to that low. So I thought from that loss, the way we practice football changed for the entire year. Then the second loss against Philly, the going on the road and not playing clean football from a standpoint of, it's hard to go to a place that, they hadn't lost there. I think they've lost one since. Really tough place to play. It was a big stage, and we needed to feel that, and we came up short, not out of lack of effort, but that was that was something that this team hadn't felt. They had only felt one loss, and by their own volition, they had a big part in that. So then that occurs. We just get beat by a good football team, and then
before he gets to the 3rd and 4th losses, I'm going to go ahead and give you my breakdown of what I learned from those 2 losses initially. From the Bills, I learned you can't overlook the Bills. I know they have their own problems that they have going on. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen at each other's throats. Nonetheless, we have a big game at the end of the season against the Bills. I feel like had we beat the Bills early on in the season, we probably would have walked into that finale here, probably like, who cares kind of vibe. But because of the losses that we have taken, there is a chance that potentially we can play the Bills in the final week there.
Do you know what else I learned from that response about the Bills loss? That apparently you shouldn't have won the previous game by 50 because you got a little high on your own supply, right?
Exactly.
That if you'd won that game by 30, you might have beaten the Bills the next week.
For sure. You got to save some of those points for next week.
Exactly.
It was just a humility and understanding that, let's not get too big for our britches. Bridges, guys. Britches. Don't want you to press the dumb button, JFig. And then the second one, I learned that sometimes the refs cheat. And you know what? With the Eagles game, of course, it'd be foolish for me to just think that the only reason we lost was because the refs cheated. But it is a good wake-up call that sometimes you can do a lot of things right, and sometimes the other team can do a lot of things wrong. And there's just going to be moments that are out of your control or moments that go beyond the game that sometimes weigh heavily into the game. Again, I know that's not the only reason we lost, but it is a good reminder that when you beat a team, beat a team. Don't sit here and leave it in the hands of the refs. Don't leave it in the hands of these moments that are, obscure, may happen, may not happen. Make sure it's a commanding victory, especially when you're going against these good teams. Bad teams always find a way to lose. Good teams always find a way to win. Make sure you're on the right side of that. That's what the Eagles game taught me. Now I'm going to play the rest, and McDaniel can tell us what the loss to the Chiefs and what the loss to the Titans taught him.
I think in Kansas City we learned that in a different way, people were pressing when they shouldn't have or shouldn't need to. A different way from the Tennessee game, but that, and they also learned how hungry they were, and they hadn't really accomplished anything that they'd set out to do. Which is a humbling experience, but a very healthy experience. And then, this last loss was, I think we learned a vital piece of what will shape the rest of our season, namely this game against the Cowboys, is how, how. I'm not boring. you just went on TikTok? Whatever he's saying. But that one, we learned a vital piece on, where our attention should lie, and how, in a matter of 4 minutes in that case, but how things can go drastically awry. And
okay, my breakdown is Tennessee game, definitely a fluke, but definitely what you should learn from that. It's not over until it's over. And that's something, no matter how good or bad the team is, no matter how dominant of a performance you have, it's not over until it's over. And I think that's something that we can use in the playoffs. And what I learned from the Kansas City loss was Patrick Mahomes is a baby. I don't know if it necessarily came to light until a few weeks later when he was yelling at his receivers.
Yeah,
but just
and also when he was mad at the refs for not allowing that touchdown when Kadarius Toney was lined up like 5 yards offside. Like, sorry, buddy, it's not illegal when you're lined up 5 yards offside.
Patrick Mahomes is a baby.
He is.
That's really what I learned from the Kansas City matchup. But yes, 4 losses on the Dolphins record thus far. Each of them, I think we will take with us as lessons, not as something that's going to hold us down. It's not going to be something that's going to be the reason why, sometimes you lose one, you continue to lose some, you slump up. We see it with the Hurricanes. You see it with boxers. Sometimes they get knocked out once and then, it's hard to come back from that. I think we genuinely got lessons from all of these. And I think the biggest one is Patrick Mahomes is a baby.
Yeah, I can concur. Do you think he likes Christmas as much as Tua? I doubt it.
No one likes Christmas as much as Tua. This guy loves Christmas. Tua, do you love Christmas?
I love Christmas.
He loves Christmas, too. When we come back, we'll get into some cat talk right here on 560 WQAM. We'll break down more of the Miami Dolphins matchup against the Cowboys at 15 minutes of game day uncensored. And we'll wrap next hour with Game Show Christmas edition. That and more right here on 560 WQAM.
Back out to Montour, center point over to Barkov, right circle, down low. They work in front of the net shot. They scored. It's Sam Reinhart on the power play off an ice speed from Kachuk at the side of the goal. Sam Reinhart gives the Panthers a 1-0 lead. 1 minute, 28 seconds into the game.
Donno, I know that you work Panthers games, but have you had an opportunity to enjoy one in the building?
Many times, not yet this season, actually.
I probably should have specified. I was referring to this season specifically because they have a new goal song, which is the one that I just played.
Yeah, I like it. Although I remember because I'm a creature of habit. They used that Jimmy Eat World song for so many years.
Yeah,
the sweetness. Yeah. So I don't know. It was probably like 5 or 6 years straight, if not longer. They used that same song. It's like you kind of get when they score a goal. Oh, you listen. I was kind of into it. All right, and then they switched it up, but I don't mind this one.
Yeah, no, I completely feel the same way. It was stuck in my head.
Last season, didn't they have all different songs?
Yeah, everyone had their own song.
Yeah, so
I
this
actually
is
wasn't a
better,
fan
I
of that.
think.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't a fan of that one. The Florida Panthers. Well, before I start talking about our boys, JFig, do you have a Celsius in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God! What? You
one
didn't
of
get me
those.
one? Do you? No. Okay, I was going to ask you, Donno, but clearly you don't have a Celsius.
Yes, I
But that's okay
do.
because we're doing Cat Talk, which is essentially like audio Celsius.
Yeah.
Hockey fans, don't sit this one out. When it's game time, make Celsius a part of your play and get that energy up. Game day is fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of.
Open that up.
Oh wait.
What the hell
don't
did
know
you
why I
just
did
do?
Yeah.
What the hell?
There you
did
go.
you just
Crack that
do?
can open.
You did it in front of the camera, dude. This is an audio medium. You got to give me the opening. Jesus
Look at this.
Christ,
This
dude.
is the sparkling, prickly pear.
I like that
Love
one, the Oasis one. Yeah, that's good.
Love that.
Bubbling.
You know what I do like? I do like the fruit punch flavored one. Damn, Comet? No, not Comet. Astro. What are the vibes?
Yeah, I think Comet is detergent. You don't want to drink that.
Oh yeah, watch. I mean,
I've never tried this one. This one's actually really good.
there was
Yeah,
a
it is
time
good.
where people were eating Tide Pods, so you never know. You never know, dude. The Panthers are back in action tonight. You can listen to that right here on 560 WQAM. They take on the St. Louis Blues after a rough West Coast trip we talked about before. Panthers still find themselves third in the Atlantic Division, which, in my opinion, is a complete bump up from last year's situation in which, we had that until the end of the season. We were biting our nails, wondering whether or not we were going to make it at all.
Yeah, and that West Coast trip, it's always a gauntlet because the travel's crazy and you're going between a couple of different countries. At least they were able to get a win out west against Edmonton, which is not a bad hockey team. And a buddy of mine's a big Oilers fan, so I gave him hell for that one. But yeah, losing to Calgary to wrap up the trip, I wanted that one for Matthew Tkachuk. Like I wanted him to beat his former team. That was a tough one. Then you had the 4-0 losses earlier on in the trip. I'm sure these guys are just happy to be back home because that West Coast, California, Canada trip, that's always a grind every year.
Yeah, absolutely. Panthers will be home for a little bit, which kind of hurts my heart because that means I won't be able to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Amaranth Bank because the Panthers will too
Does
busy.
it really hurt your heart?
Sometimes you just love to see orchestras and lights.
So are they not playing this year?
Not at Amaranth. They will make their way to Amway. They'll be in Tampa.
Okay. Oh, how dare they?
How dare they, right? Bastards. Let's get into some other headlines here. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
So I know we had a busy day, specifically you yesterday, Donno, as you were tracking all the recruits to officially sign with the Miami Hurricanes. But we had some action here in basketball, around the basketball world. It seems as if Joel Embiid may be going for his second straight MVP. Did you see him put up 51 points yesterday?
Yes, I did. That was quite a night. Oh,
Wow.
man.
Also, the Clippers look to be in sync yet again. Kawhi Leonard is finally not taking games off. James Harden looks like he's been settling into his role over there. So a little bit of success out west for them. And it's good to see because, now you're seeing, instead of highlights of Russell Westbrook jumping over crazy people, instead you're seeing him support his teammates on the sideline, which is great. That's where he should be. He's really settling into that role over there out west. Out east, the Miami Heat pulled off a victory yesterday against the Orlando Magic. And although they were in control for a majority of the game, I say pulled off a victory because things got really dicey towards the end.
What was it? A 24-point lead that they were
Yes.
thinking about blowing? Yeah, they were thinking
Absolutely.
about it. They tried to, but
Thinking
they held
about
on.
I believe it was a stats reported earlier that I think their plus minus in regards to the points scored. First quarter, second quarter, they were plus 90 or plus 40, plus 50. Third quarter, they're probably plus 36. When it comes to that fourth quarter this year, they have been minus 96 when it comes to that. Is the new third quarter. Before it was the third quarter. Coming out of the half, we started slow. That was the quarter that brought us down. Now it's gotten even scarier. We decided the fourth quarter is the one that we're going to be taking off. So,
well, then eventually, hear me out, okay? If the third quarter used to be the problem, they're pushing it back to the fourth quarter. If they can figure that out, then they'll be winning games by 30 points on the regular if they can push, because there's no quarters after the fourth, Marcos. The game is over unless you're in overtime. But if you get rid of the fourth quarter struggles, championship 82-0 next year.
You know what? I think you're onto something. We will lose every overtime game based off of your math, though.
Right, but how many overtime games will they actually get to if they dominate the first, second, third, and fourth quarters?
And how many years does it take for our third quarter to go from one quarter to the next? If that's the case, in a few years after that, we'll only be losing double overtime games, and we barely get into those. So I cannot wait. 5 years down the line, we got this, dude.
Yeah, that's why Pat Riley is never going to retire, because he knows in about 5 years' time, the Heat will not lose a single game. Well, would it be 98-0 if you go unbeaten regular season playoffs? That's what we're looking at in a few years.
Yeah, just avoid double overtime. If double overtime even comes up, just go ahead and forfeit the game. Save everyone some time. Donno, tonight we got some Thursday night football. We have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the New Orleans Saints. Both of those teams are 7-7 at the moment, which I normally wouldn't care about this game at all, and I actually still don't, but the gambler in me wants to see the lines, my friend. But
you're all in.
Props, I'm not gonna lie to you. I only do player props, so I'm giving you a few player props for tonight's games.
Oh, okay.
You tell me if I should go over or under on these. All right, let's start with Derek Carr because
under.
I
don't even need to hear the number. Under.
Wow.
But damn it, I have no choice. There's a chili pepper next to it. I have to go
Listen
higher.
to Donno.
Oh no, but does the chili pepper give you some crazy prop? What is the number?
So it would increase the bet by 1.25, which essentially, if I were to normally get $200, if I add this to my parlay, then that would make it 225. I'm assuming. Quick math.
Okay. Sure.
Sure.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Sure. So, would that be over or under 1.5 passing touchdowns?
That is. I don't know. I'm going to say over only because overs are so much more fun. I think 1.5 is a good stat there. I'd rather root for something to happen than root for something not to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over.
Last game, he was able to put up 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The game before that, he was able to put up 2 touchdowns. The only difference is he's actually going against a pretty good defense in the Los Angeles Rams. He's not facing the Giants and the Carolina Panthers as he did the past 2 weeks.
It's a low number, though. I'll go over. When I see a 1.5 for quarterback touchdowns, if I'm going to take it, I'd usually go over.
What about this? Alvin Kamara, 51.5. You know what, though? Because he's a dual threat. How about we do this, Donno? It also has
the combined, the total number.
Combine of the rushing and receiving, 87.5. What do you think?
I think I'm going over on that.
On that?
Yeah, I think he'll probably have like 65 rushing yards, maybe 30, 40 receiving yards. I'll go over for Kamara.
That is an identical stat line to what he had last game.
Is it?
66
Wow.
rushing yards, 44 receiving.
Okay. There you go.
No, look, there you go.
I know my Kamara.
You parlay those two bad boys, and you're looking at a hot $115 off of $10.
That's not bad. Okay. I'm rooting for you. You know what? This gives me extra motivation. I'm going to be watching that game tonight, not thinking about my own wagers. I'm going to be thinking about Marcos's parlay as well. I'm going to be watching that tonight.
That's right. I'm infectious. Someone said that to me one time.
I will. If you want me to root for you, I charge 10% on a commission on your winnings.
10%. How about this? If the Heat win, you can use my code at Papa John's, and you can get 50% off pizza.
Fair enough. We'll settle for that.
All right. When we come back, we'll give you 15 minutes of game day uncensored. Your Miami Dolphins are set to play in arguably the most important game in quite some time, maybe even in over a decade here in South Florida. We'll hear more from Coach Mike McDaniel, a little bit more from Tua, all that when we come back right here on 560 WQAM.
Uncensored.
Let's go! Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers. Experienced amazing.
Donno,
Marcos.
Do you see what I've done with my sweater?
Yeah, you look like you're on your way to the yacht club.
Oh,
You
yeah.
tied it around your neck. Very classy.
Yes. Looking good, huh?
Very preppy.
Good. I'm fancy. I'm ready for a big matchup this weekend. That's what
You got a little hot back there, right? It's
so hot, dude. Very hot. I'm sweating.
Speaking of this weekend, would you like to know the scenarios where the Miami Dolphins can potentially not only clinch a playoff spot this weekend, but they could clinch the AFC East division as early as this weekend?
That's crazy because
Donno, that's the only thing I want to hear.
literally
Actually,
all he was doing.
that's literally. I was trying to crunch the numbers and I can't.
Oh, do you have them in front of you?
Yeah, but like my math was off. I would much rather hear it from you.
All right, I got them if you want them. And by the way, I wish I could take credit for this, but I am reading these off of alldolphins.com. So lest anyone think I crunched the numbers. I Googled it. How can the Dolphins clinch the playoffs this week?
They are
And
not
this came up.
mathematicians.
Did you carry the one? Be careful.
I carried several ones. Okay, so these are the 6 different ways that the Dolphins can clinch a playoff berth. If the Dolphins beat the Cowboys, or the Dolphins tie against the Cowboys and Jacksonville Jaguars lose, or the Dolphins tie against the Cowboys and Indianapolis and Houston both lose, or the Dolphins tie against the Cowboys and the Colts lose or tie and the Cleveland Browns lose, or the Dolphins tie against the Cowboys and Texans lose or tie and Cincinnati Bengals lose or tie, or the Dolphins tie against, there's a lot of tie scenarios in here.
Tie scenarios.
Tie against the Cowboys and Bengals loss, or tie and the Colts lose or tie. Basically, and ties do happen, but the bottom line here is Miami Dolphins win, and they are in the playoffs this weekend, or there's 5 different ways they can get in with tying. Here's how the Dolphins can actually clinch the division this weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah, you do have the Bills breathing down your neck, but they're 2 behind you in the loss column. So if the Dolphins beat the Cowboys and Buffalo loses or ties, the Dolphins win the division, or the Dolphins tie against the Cowboys and the Bills lose. Now, I am not expecting to clinch the division this weekend because, Marcos, have you seen Buffalo's remaining schedule?
I have not. Is it soft?
Very easy compared to the Dolphins' remaining schedule. So the Dolphins have the Cowboys, the Ravens on the road, who are the top team in the conference right now, and then they have the head-to-head against Buffalo to finish it up. Buffalo, before they play the Dolphins, they've got the Chargers, who are on a complete spiral, terrible team, and they've got the Patriots, who have been terrible all season. Even though didn't the Patriots beat them earlier this year? Am I imagining that? Yeah, they did beat Buffalo. So say what you will, they're probably not beating Buffalo a second time. So Buffalo has listen, if the Dolphins don't win one of these next 2 games against the Cowboys and the Ravens, which are both tough games, especially Baltimore, if the Dolphins don't win one of these next 2 games, I am anticipating, if they don't win one of those games, Miami versus Buffalo at the end of the year to be head-to-head with the division on the line, because I think Buffalo can win these next 2. Dolphins got to win one of these next 2 before you face Buffalo.
You see, and that's where games against the Titans that you drop kind of come into play, where it's like, I know every other game was against a winning team and blah, 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 but you look at the ones that you should have won that could have given you that little bit amount of space that you needed to just bolster your chances of securing that spot, and now you're in a different situation. But that's okay. I'm confident they'll bounce back, and I was happy to hear that, Donno, but there was one person who was actually not happy to hear all those scenarios, and that was Tua. Tua actually was told by reporters that if they beat Dallas, they clinch, and this is what he had to say.
Well, you guys can clinch a playoff spot if you win this weekend. How important or how meaningful will that be for you getting to play this late into the year and have that opportunity to do it here?
I wish you didn't share that. I had no idea about any of the scenarios of what that would have looked like. At any time, we just want to come out the game with a win, and we want to stack those together. And so, if you can win them all, that's what it is.
That reporter is like, I'm sorry. I guess I'm sorry. I was just doing my job, dude.
That was Mike Cunha from CBS4. So, folks, if the Dolphins lose this weekend, you can blame Cunha for. He's going to be the mush. Like, you can blame Cunha for sharing the playoff scenarios with Tua. Now there's so much pressure now. Tua did not know how much pressure there was until that question.
Damn it, Cunha. One of the things that we've been monitoring thus far against that vaunted Dallas Cowboys defensive line is the status of our offensive line. We've been banged up, like I mentioned earlier in the show. Yesterday, we practiced with 0 starting offensive linemen, as well as a few other notable injuries. So yesterday, during Mike McDaniel's meeting with the media, he was asked what the status of that offensive line is. And it's much better visual than it is audio, but I'll play the audio anyway. And just imagine Mike McDaniel shrugging his shoulders after that first answer, which is a response that he gave reporters. This is from yesterday.
What's the condition of your offensive line? You obviously have.
Bro,
How did Austin and Liam get through the game? How are they doing?
They are earning stripes and medal with every single one of their teammates. The rarefied air the whole group really has battled things throughout the whole season. And Liam Eichenberg, his performance when the team absolutely needed it, it was he wasn't saying, okay, I'm going to try to go. He was telling everyone he was going, and then not even leading on to that he was dealing with anything. You just had to look at his, one of his feet had terrible footwear. It was a boot.
So, as you can hear there, Mike McDaniel noted that last week, Liam Eichenberg, and he said this multiple times, he was the first recipient of the game ball following the victory against the Jets. Liam Eichenberg kind of willed himself to play in a walking boot all week, but it was either Liam Eichenberg or the veteran Jonathan Harrison, who was signed just days before the game.
I don't even know who that is.
He was signed. He used to play for the Jets, but he'd been out of the league for quite some time. And that was a person who they had signed who potentially could have been the starting center just 4 days after being, assigned to the roster.
And as we've learned throughout this season, that's one of the most difficult positions to have moving parts in, because those exchanges and those snaps, right? Even like obviously Connor Williams, when healthy, was playing really well, but he even had some issues with snaps. We've seen, Eichenberg, the exchanges. I'm happy with how much better he's playing. But yeah, to sign some dude who you picked up a few days ago and then have him starting, that would have been a disaster. You probably still would have beaten the Jets by 20, but you wouldn't have beaten them by 30.
Now, not to get too far ahead of ourselves before we go to break here, this is news from Barry Jackson about 28 minutes ago. I know a lot of us were talking about the implications of what the Buffalo game could be, but prior to that, the number one game in all of our minds, and I think far and ahead, the most important game the Miami Dolphins could have played in about 20 years, and probably will play in about 20 years, is that Dolphins and Ravens game in Week 17, right?
Yep.
We were wondering, are they going to flex that game? Is that going to be something that's going to come to prime time because of the magnitude of what that game holds? Now, the NFL, according to Barry Jackson about 28 minutes ago, says the NFL has decided there will be no changes to the Week 17 schedule. Dolphins-Ravens will remain at 1 p.m. on CBS and will be aired in parts of the country. The league decided not to flip Dolphins and Ravens with Kansas City and the Bengals at 4:25 on CBS.
Wow.
And the Packers and Vikings will remain at 8:20 p.m. on NBC.
Okay.
Do you think the league made the right choice?
I don't necessarily think so, because again, it depends on what happens between the Dolphins and Cowboys this week. I think the Dolphins can win this game though. So then they're going to regret it if the Dolphins beat the Cowboys, and then that Ravens matchup is literally for the top seed in the AFC. And I know it's not week 18, but week 17 to have the top seed on the line, it's a pretty big freaking game. I think they're going to regret it.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they know something that we don't know. All the Baltimore Ravens going to lose every game before then?
Or maybe the fix is in and the referees are ready to help the Cowboys this week.
Fix is in,
Fix is
dude.
in.
The fix. I'm going to put over. Let's see. Do they have an over and under on how many penalties will be called?
If they do, you'll find it.
I can't wait to start betting things that are obscure when the Super Bowl comes. Like what
Oh,
color?
I was about to say, because you weren't into that stuff in the last
Yeah.
Super Bowl, Marcos.
Yeah.
You can find odds on anything. Every year, I bet the over under on the national anthem, and I've hit it. I've hit it like 5 years in a row. Because Lee Sterling, as JFig probably knows from her Hawk and Crowder days, he's like undefeated in picking the national anthem over unders.
Isn't his daughter or something like that? Like I feel like
it depends on who's singing. So here's the deal. Lee Sterling's daughter, he's the professional sports handicapper who goes on the Hawk and Crowder show frequently. He's also a good friend of mine.
I actually met him recently for the first time.
Yeah, so his daughter is a professional singer, and so she studies the artists who perform the anthem every year, and she comes up with this educated estimation on whether they're going to go over or under, and she's gotten it right every single year she's been doing it. She shares that information with Lee. I bet my mortgage on it every year, and I'm rich.
Look at that! I can see you're now stationed in the Hurricanes facility.
I live in this is actually a replica full-size Hurricanes facility I built on my private island. That's where I live.
Look at that. So you're paying for the family cruise then, is what I'm assuming.
I bought the ship.
You know what? What's crazy?
He doesn't need the alcohol package.
I was gonna say he's still trying to pinch pennies for the alcohol.
I'm still charging myself exorbitant prices for the alcohol package. I don't know why.
Great. When we come back, guys, we have arguably the best part of the show, according to literally no one but me. It is time now to play Christmas Family Feud right here on the Tobin and Leroy show on 560 WQAM. Welcome back to the Tobin Leroy Show. Or is it Family Feud? No one knows. No one knows. No one will know. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Your boy's driving the ship, which means shenanigans will commence. We are here with our first annual Christmas edition of Family Feud. Donno, are you ready?
Born ready.
JFig,
are you ready? She doesn't look ready. She's fixing her camera.
I'm always
Not
ready.
ready. You know what's crazy?
You know what's really bothers me is that somehow I turn off the lights and it gets wider.
I
in
was
here.
just saying the lights are off and somehow you look.
I think it's because when you turned off the lights, like the sun is now, like the sunlight from the window is now kind of bleaching you out.
She looks like the ghost of Christmas past.
I'm over it. I'm over it. And guess what, guys? You heard it here first. I'm changing chairs.
Damn. I like that.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm taking my camera back.
Whoa. All right. She's making demands now. All right. Team Donno, Team Fig, send one player of your team up to the front. Let's play the feud. All right. We surveyed the top 5 people. We surveyed the top 5 people that are in the office today. On a Thursday.
the only 5 people?
The only
And
5
they're
people.
all next door.
Yes, and they're from the Spanish Radio Libre.
Only I can communicate with them.
Yes.
According to Marcos.
So now, top 5 answers on the board. Get ready. I need your hands by the buzzers. Are your hands by the buzzers? Where's the buzzer? Exactly. Name something people do on Christmas Day.
Open presents.
Okay, hold on. You got to understand the rules.
I don't even get a chance to play if she's going to blurt
That's
stuff
the thing.
out.
Blurt stuff out. Because of that, and I didn't see her hand move at all. Donno, I feel like you followed the rules. Team Donno, we're going to go to you. What's your answer, sir?
I'm going to go with open Christmas presents.
Open Christmas presents. Show me presents.
I'm going to go to the other room.
Oh, number one answer.
I don't know how I thought of that.
Donno, will you choose to pass or play?
I will play.
All right.
Stealer.
4 answers remaining on the board here. Donno.
Okay, I'm going to go watch Christmas movies.
Watch Christmas movies. Show me movies.
Really? Who did you survey again?
This is the 5 people out here. Tree, 2 Radio Libre people, Len, and Will from Power 96.
Wow, Len really let me down. So did Will.
Len doesn't celebrate Christmas, and Will was on the phone.
That's a fair point, actually.
Okay.
Will
All
said
right.
this.
Yeah, exactly. He gave me a 5. Donno, Team Donno, you have 4 answers left on the board. 1 X. Name something people do on Christmas Day.
Eat Christmas dinner.
Show me eat. Woo! The number 4 answer. 3 answers left on the board. Team Donno, name something people do on Christmas Day.
Listen to Christmas music.
Show me listen to Christmas music. Oh. Team JFig, get ready to steal. Donno, 3 answers left. Name something people do on Christmas Day.
Yeah, there's not. I can't think of anything else.
Oh, he said
Stop
open
taking
gifts.
things away,
No,
Marcos.
open gifts and eat. That's the only thing you got.
That's all I got. Spend time with family.
Oh my god, it's like you're reading my mind. Stop
Oh,
it.
see family. Wow, look at that. 2 answers left. You got 2 answers left. Something people do on Christmas Day, according to the 5 people in our office. We got open gifts. We got eat. We got see family. Donno, give me one more.
God, I don't even know if I can think of another one. Decorate their tree, which should have been done already. But I'm going to go with that because these answers are whack.
Whoa, I'm going to tell Len you said that.
Yeah.
Show me decorating your tree.
I was about to say
Oh,
that's kind of like
little late there, Donno. Little late to be decorating your tree.
Saying, like, I don't know, maybe some people procrastinate.
JFig, opportunity to steal the Fig family. Name something people do on Christmas Day. 2 answers left.
I don't like you saying that, but
Oof.
Am I able to answer now? Is that what's
Yeah,
going
it's your
on?
turn. It's your turn.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
Before you give my answer, so
Well, as the host of the game, I'm pretty sure that I know that it's
I don't
your
trust
turn.
you anymore.
That's
so.
fair. No, that's fair. I wouldn't trust me either.
Huh. Okay. Watch sports.
Oh, hey, that is. Oh, had you asked me, I definitely would have given you that answer. Show me sports.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wow, dude. Tough crowd.
Wow.
You are not even
Tough
looking at a list.
crowd.
You are.
Let's look at the number the number 2 answer that no one else revealed. Sleep. Oh wow.
No,
you gotta talk to different people. This is
No way.
ridiculous.
Wow.
This is ridiculous.
-1.
That's rough crowd. Let's look at the number 3 answer. Go to church. Go
Oh.
to church.
A lot of people do Christmas Eve services, though. I wouldn't have thought about that on Christmas Day.
Actual Christmas Day, right?
Yeah.
All right, I think we got time for another one. Let's play the feud. All right, we surveyed. Now 3 of those people left. There's only 2 people out there. We surveyed Lupe and Anna for this question.
I trust them more than I trust Len and Will at this point. So let's roll.
What is another name for Santa? JFig, I didn't see you move at all. You got to buzz. You got to give me the buzz.
Go ahead, JFig. I'll let you take this one.
Another name for Santa.
Seriously?
Really? There's
Donno?
more names to Santa?
Another
Okay.
name for
The
Santa.
Grinch. I don't know.
Saint Nicholas.
Oh.
Show me Saint Nick. Number 1 answer there, Donno.
I got more if you want more.
There's only 2 answers left on the board, Team
I
Donno. Will
clearly
you
don't celebrate
pass
Christmas.
or will you play?
No, I'm going to play.
All right. What is another name for Santa?
Father Christmas.
Show me Father Christmas. Donno, my boy. 1 answer left on the board.
Show me
What is another name for Santa?
Chris Kringle.
Christopher
Stop looking at the group
Kringle.
chat.
I knew that one without looking at the chat. Yes.
Whoa!
Huge dub.
He's not even looking at anything. He's a liar.
I want you to know, JP.
You're a liar.
Exited the screen just to stand on a couch to determine if I was looking at anything. It is true. Another name for Santa, Chris Kringle, Father Christmas, and Old Saint Nick.
Wow.
We got time for one more round, speed round here. And I'll tell you what, the points are worth a quadrillion.
Oh, no.
Wow. You can
Oh,
come
yes.
back. You can definitely do it this time. Now, name something people associate with Santa Claus. Oh, hey, she used the
got
buzzer
it.
this time.
Yeah,
she used the
Fig got
buzzer
it.
for sure. She used
A
it.
reindeer.
Show me reindeer. Oh, the number 5 answer was reindeer. And there's a total of 6. So you have 4 potential opportunities. Team Donno, something people associate with Santa Claus.
Wow, really? You
Yeah,
gave him
because-
a bunch of chances.
No, hold on. This is how Family Feud works. If he gets an answer better than yours, he has an opportunity to do it.
Presents.
Oh, jeez. The number 1 answer, presents. Donno, will you pass or will you play?
I'll play.
Donno, name something people associate with Santa Claus.
Sleigh.
Show me sleigh.
Or is it
Wow, the number 2 answer. You are streaking at the moment, Donno. What is something that people associate with Santa Claus?
I'm going to go with chimney.
Oh, coming down the chimney. Are you on the naughty or nice list? Let's find out. Show me chimney. Oh, 1X. Team JFig. Don't look so defeated over there.
Now you want to go to me, huh?
No, it's still not your turn. Sorry, he has to go through all his three. Okay, she's gonna throw her boot.
Can you remind me, like, what's off the board already?
Presents and sleigh.
Okay, presents and sleigh.
Something people associate with Santa Claus.
Cookies.
Show me cookies. Ooh, 1x away. And Team JFig, all you need to do is answer one of these if it goes your way, and you get a quadrillion points.
Can I do it now?
No, sorry, he still has 1x. Donno, name something people associate with Santa Claus.
Beard.
Show me a beard. Look at that. We got beard. We got reindeer. We got presents. We got sleigh. 2 answers left on the board.
Answer. You're neglecting it.
Okay. All right. I won't include an answer then. Donno, name something people associate with Santa Claus.
Joy.
Joy. Oh, joy to the world. Let's see. Show me joy. No joy. JFig, it has come to you with an opportunity to win the game. A quadrillion points on the line, bragging rights, and your self-respect. Name something.
I'm gonna show you some self-respect.
Name something people associate with Santa Claus.
The big red suit.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Okay. Big red suit. Santa Claus. For the win. JFig.
Elves.
Well, okay. Well, what's your answer?
Everyone gives me the point.
No, I need a final answer. I need a final answer.
Surprise me.
All right. Red suit. Not on the board.
You're a liar.
How? What an upset.
How? It's his costume.
Let's just reveal the rest of them. Maybe it wasn't one of the top 6 answers.
You're a
Can I
liar.
try?
Your list.
Yeah, what you got there, Donno, even though you already won?
Elves.
Elves is on the freaking board.
No, it's not.
The last one. Okay.
What a victory.
She's getting upset. We got more when we come back. Right. By the way, the last answer was Mrs. Claus. Why didn't we think of that?
Oh,
We
yeah.
got
Why didn't I
more
think of that?
right here on 560 WQAM. She's going to kill me.
WQAM, broadcasting live from the Ed Moore Sawgrass Auto Mall Studios. Ed Moore Sawgrass Buick GMC's entire inventory is on sale and all backed by Moore. Click Ed.
rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of
Welcome back to the final hour of today's show. Tobin and Leroy show here. Alex Donno filling in. JFig filling in. She's not filling in. She's just there as usual.
Yep.
Doesn't know any other names for Santa, but it's okay. We'll forgive her. We shall forgive her. I got some news.
Yeah, the news
at
is he's a
Dolphins
liar.
camp. Okay.
That's
All
the news.
right. Seems to be lashing out. Let's get to some headlines. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Wow, I like that. Good delivery.
Good one.
Thank you.
We got some reports at a Dolphin practice. Got some good news. You want some good news or you want some bad news, Donno?
I'd like some good news. Christmas season. Yeah, give me something good.
The good news is the cheetah has returned to practice, baby.
Let's go. We're going to beat Dallas.
Limp. According to Omar Kelly, a noticeable limp, but he's still fast.
Yeah, he's a gamer. Even when he went back into that game against Tennessee, obviously he wasn't himself, but it changes the complexion of the offense when he's out there. And I would imagine he's feeling better now than he was 2 weeks ago. So we're good.
Now, I'm not sure if you heard earlier on in the week that Mike McDaniel gave specific instructions to his players when talking to the media, saying that if they ask you anything other than what is in front of you, which is the Dallas Cowboy game, that you're allowed to give them this response.
With all due respect, F off.
It seems like that is spread to the coaching staff, where it wasn't exactly the F off response Mike McDaniel encouraged, but Chris Perk got scolded and told focus on today by Dolphins offensive coach Frank Smith. Absolutely love that. Got to stay focused on the task at hand, Donno.
Wow.
Right?
I've noticed Mario Cristobal has something similar because, sometimes he gets asked really good questions. Sometimes he gets asked, kind of bad questions. And he'll often say something like, I respect your question, and then he just obliterates your question. So I enjoy that.
I like that he says, I respect your question.
Yeah, like I respect your question. Like somebody earlier this year asked him about the Middle Tennessee game last year, which, he doesn't want to talk about the worst loss last year. It's like, I respect your question. And then he completely obliterated that question. Great.
Got some more news there. The Miami Dolphins recently forced a JPP, but with Emmanuel Ogbah questionable to play this week, one of the former Dolphins and former edge rushing stars of the NFL, who was recently brought back onto the practice squad, Melvin Ingram, might be elevated this week from the practice squad and take a few snaps. We get to see the former AFC Defensive Player of the Month, Melvin Ingram, who had an amazing game one last year, and I don't know where the hell he went after that.
Yeah,
but
that's a great question.
Honestly, all you need is that one for me. You're in my good book after that.
It only takes one.
Some reports were that Jalen Ramsey said he was bored. He gets bored in matchups just because he's not targeted a lot. Defensive coordinator Vic Fangio said Thursday the decision to have Jalen Ramsey shadow Jets receiver Garrett Wilson was entirely a byproduct of Xavier Howard missing the game. Other than that, normally he wouldn't be tasked with following anyone. So that means the team's probably not going to throw in his direction, which results in him being bored. He's been targeted just 27 times in 7 games.
Wow.
By comparison, the Cowboys cornerback Deron Bland, who leads the league with 5 interceptions, has been targeted 5.4 times per game. And fellow Cowboys cornerback and former Patriot great Stephon Gilmore is targeted 5.2 times per game. So with that being said, these are 2 of the top corners in the league, including one of them leading in interceptions, and they're getting targeted a whopping 1.4 less times than Jalen Ramsey.
You got to target somebody. And in the Dolphins' case, you target whoever is not Jalen Ramsey because he's one of the best to do it in a really long time. And I get it. It's probably like when you're doing your job so well that they don't throw in your direction, which also means like people don't probably talk about you enough because they're not throwing in your direction. I get how that could probably be boring. Now, against the stinking Jets, who were down to like their 7th quarterback at points in that game, that was probably boring for a lot of people. Like I was, I did Game Day Uncensored post game here on the station. We were hearing some of the player comments, and Brandon Jones also said he got a little bored because the front 7 was so dominant that, the back 4 didn't have to do very much in that game because the Jets couldn't really generate anything vertical or horizontal or score any points, literally.
Mike McDaniel said that Howard is close to returning from a hip injury, but this does lead to a potential matchup this Sunday between Ramsey and the Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb, who as of right now has 103 receptions for 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's a respectable season. He'll be what, like 2nd or 3rd on the Miami Dolphins, but still a respectable season nonetheless. So it should be worth watching, to say the least.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's a good player. Watched him back when he was at Oklahoma, and that's he's someone who can potentially give the Dolphins problems.
Now, I mentioned earlier that Melvin Ingram may get thrown into the rotation with Emmanuel Ogbah hamstring being questionable. Another person who might be taking some of those snaps, Cameron Good, who, according to Vic Fangio, did a nice job in his 20 defensive snaps against the Jets. He knew his assignment and did a good job, so we could be seeing more of the young Dolphins player.
That's
and
good.
Like I mentioned, Ndamukong Suh was brought in for a Dolphins visit on Wednesday. His team was interested to see if he has anything left and if they have mutual interest.
Somebody said in the chat earlier that he's visiting the Cowboys also. I don't know if they were just...
I checked that out too.
That might not be true. They might have just said that.
Yeah, so it's a misleading headline because I searched that immediately, and the headline that I saw was like, Suh visiting ahead of the Cowboys game, and then it was like, but he's for, once you click the article, it's like, but it's for the other team. It's like, what, sir? Don't be so cutesy on the damn. I don't try that with me, bucko. Sorry, I blew up back there. Other notable things to mention. The Miami Heat were able to take down the Orlando Magic yesterday pretty easily, minus a late push by the Magic that had almost everybody in South Florida scared. They won only this time by 9 when it should have been 24, right, Donno? That's what it was?
Yeah, they were up 24. But you know what? At this point, we've seen enough 4th quarter collapses. I'm just relieved when they win. I will take it, especially against a Magic team that historically, the Magic give the Heat regular season fits. Not playoff fits because we don't usually see them in the playoffs because they're the Magic. But in the regular season, Magic give the Heat fits. They've got a better record than the Heat for now, so that was a big win.
The Miami Heat, according to Brady Hawk, are the number 1 team in three-point shooting so far this season. Tyler Hero, 41%. Duncan Robinson, 44%. Kevin Love, 37%. Kyle Lowry, 44%. Caleb Martin and Jaime, 37%. Jimmy Butler, 38%. But, Jimmy Butler doesn't shoot him that much, so those numbers are skewed, to say the least.
I know that dude, Brady Hawk. He's like a human computer. Like, he knows he knows everything. Yeah.
It's very strange. It makes me feel like I need to do better with my life.
It's already too late. Like, you'll never be at 30 what Brady Hawk is at like 20.
So true.
Same with me. Would give up.
Ship has sailed.
Yeah.
But at least I know other names for Santa Claus. I mean, Jesus Christ.
You know what?
Come on. What are we doing?
Stop lashing out on me, okay?
That's okay. And then I think
Neglector.
The biggest headline, I believe, is what is written on JFig sweater. If I can be
Stop it!
100% honest.
Quiet.
That is probably the biggest headline here. She has quite the naughty sweater, and I would like to use my platform to let everyone know that she's a troublemaker, to say the least. I don't think anyone noticed it, which is part of the reason why she's no longer wearing it the way that she is. It looks great. It looks great. It's better than a majority of the other people here who didn't celebrate the holiday season, but it is egregious nonetheless. And I will be writing you up following this. I just want you to know
Speaking of egregious stuff, I was driving my son home like around 7 p.m. last night, like on like US 1 and some other, non-highway roads. And there's this Mustang who's just, driving like an ass clown, like revving his engine, weaving and stuff. And I end up right behind that car at a traffic light. And then I look at the back of his car, and he had like on the back of his car, hashtag keep up wussy, word that rhymes with that on the back of it. So it's like, wow, so this person is driving like a D-bag, and then I'm behind him, it says keep up keyword on the back of his car. I'm like, okay, that fits, yeah.
Needless to say, that person is single and will remain single for quite some time.
And may get into or cause an accident because they were driving like a maniac.
Can I tell you an accident story I have from a few days ago that was absolutely bizarre? I was driving home from the Improv, and I was with a friend of mine who probably is a little bit more caring than I am because he's currently in school to become a nurse. And there was a pretty bad accident that happened like literally in front of us. No cops were there yet. It was very fresh. It was maybe about 2 to 3 cars, and luckily it seemed like everyone was fairly okay, although the cars seemed definitely total. They were out of the vehicle, like kind of in the middle of the turnpike, dazed, confused, and wondering what the hell was going on. So being good Samaritans that he was, because I probably would have just kept going like, oh, okay, well, let me avoid this. We decided, let's call the police. Let's call the cops. Snitch. That's the first thing I said. All right. Look, it goes against what I wanted to do. But he said, hey, maybe we should call the cops. Maybe there's something wrong with them. So we dial 911, right? I give them a good description of where we're at. It happened to be on the turnpike, just past university, right? So it could be Dade, it could be Broward. I'm on county line, essentially, right there by the Stadium Hotel, not too far from Hard Rock Stadium. So it's an accident of some sort. I see people who look like they can use some medical attention. I give the entire description to Miami-Dade police, and then they're like, where are you exactly? And I told them, and they're like, that's Broward. So then they transfer me over to Broward, right?
Man.
So then I talk to Broward, and I'm giving Broward a description of what the hell's going on. And then Broward's like, all right, that's cool. We're going to transfer you over to Florida Highway Patrol.
Oh.
So now I'm getting transferred for the 3rd time. At this point, I want to hang up the phone. At this point, I'm just like, hey, guys, I tried. I'm sorry. And then just keep going. But I was guilted into just continuing the effort, right? Then this little Florida Highway Patrol lady gets on the phone and gets sassy with me, dude. She got sassy with me. I was explaining again for the 3rd time. She answers the phone. She's like, Florida Highway Patrol. And I was like, hello? And then she's like, Florida Highway Patrol. And I was like, okay, I think I'm reporting an accident, because I was told, hey, we're going to transfer you over. And like, not say, hey, we're going to transfer you over so you can tell Highway Patrol or this and that. You're just like, hey, we're going to transfer you over. So then as I get on the phone, I say, I think I'm reporting an accident. And she's like, you think you're reporting an accident?
Oh, no.
I said, listen, ma'am. Okay. All right. I just want to tell you these people crash. All right. If you want to get sassy with me, I can just hang up the phone right now. It's none of my business. And then she was like, okay, calm down, sir. Calm down. And I had to explain everything that was going on. But I'll tell you what, it could have been any other person. 3 out of 4 people would have probably hung up the phone. Like, you know what? I've had enough of this. And then to get sass, like I'm some sort of idiot, as if I don't know that I'm reporting an accident. I wasn't told anything, ma'am. And then come to find out, Broward Sheriff's was still on the line too. So then now they're interjecting, and I'm kind of just third-partying this conversation between Highway Patrol and Broward County Police. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Do you guys even need me? What's going on? Is anyone going to come here? And then they asked for my information as if I was going to be like, they're going to come to my house and say that I was with them. And I couldn't have that happen, Donno. So I hung up.
Dude, that's crazy. So, okay, the moral of the story here is if you're going to get in an accident, do it clearly within the boundaries of a county. Like, do not be anywhere near the border. Because, like, something like that happened to me when I was when I was like 17. I got into a fender bender. It was my fault. I was an idiot, 17-year-old. I rear-ended. It was very minor, but I rear-ended somebody, and this was like right on the border between Palmetto Bay and Pinecrest. Like it was like on the street that borders those two. And like, you know, we called the police to get someone out there, and like the cop from the wrong jurisdiction, and it depended on which side of the street. Had we been literally going the other direction on the other side of the street, that would have been the right police officer, but they had to call to get the other, you know, I think this was before Palmetto Bay existed. It was Dade County. They had to call Dade County to come out there. And so it was right on the border. It was crazy.
Yeah, guys, if you're getting into an accident, pick a county, please.
Yeah, just pick a county, stick with it.
There is no time to be debating who to call. Like, it's crazy.
I was thinking, if someone was bleeding
waste
out,
of time.
if someone was bleeding out on the ground right there, that was at least 5 to 7 minutes of them determining who was the correct person to call. I'm like, all of you guys have an ambulance. Just send a freaking ambulance, dude. Just someone.
I mean, did the people end up being okay? Like, what happened?
I don't know, Donno. I was so pissed at the lady. I left.
Oh no,
I didn't stick around. But look, okay, to say the least, they were walking, so that was good, right? They were out of the vehicle. Airbags fully deployed. The cars were totaled for sure.
Wow.
But the woman was checking on the status of like her vehicle, and the other man, I asked him, "Are you okay?" He began to get up and walk towards me, and I said, "Sir, no, sit down, please. I don't know what's going on here. You know, the residual implications of what the hell could have happened. I don't want any of that. No fingerprints either, please. Let's just get here, dude." Yeah, it was a crazy, crazy story. I forgot exactly why the hell I brought it up, but
why did you bring it? It's because I brought up the person driving like a maniac, and then you went full blown story mode.
I was traumatized, Donno.
Yeah.
Cut me some slack, dude. Okay, less car accident stories, more determining what gives us Goosies or no Goosies when we return right here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Welcome back to Tobin Leroy Show here on 560 WQAM. Donno, Fig, let's check those Goosies out, shall we? Let's start off with number 1. Donno, you used to host a fight show on this very station, so I know that you are very intertwined with the fight game. So we'll start there. This weekend, we have what is known as the Day of Reckoning fight card. Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallen. Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. Dimitri Bivol versus Lyndon Arthur. That's a hell of a card.
Goosies. Spoiler alert. Goosies galore. I am very much looking forward to that, especially since, and it's on Saturday, right? It's nice Saturday night without regular college football anymore.
It is in Saudi Arabia, so
it might be at a weird time then. Yeah, I think it might be at a weird time, but whatever time it is, yeah, I will watch.
Nice. Does this mega boxing card give you Goosies or no Goosies, JFig?
No.
What? Wow. No impressing card, dude.
There isn't.
That's rough. Any opportunity I get to see Deontay Wilder and
I love Anthony Joshua too.
Anthony Joshua on the same card. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Although I would prefer to see them go up against each other.
Yeah.
I'll take this for now. Sticking in the same realm of boxing, if you want to call this boxing. My obsession, as I constantly bring him up on the show, Jake Paul says that he's fighting again in March. Does this give you Goosies or no Goosies, Donno?
It depends on who he's fighting against, because obviously if it's somebody I'm a fan of, I'll be hoping that they kick his ass. I'm a big fan of the Diaz brothers from the MMA world. He's done some go-arounds with Nate. So, depending on who he's fighting, and again, I have nothing against the Pauls. It's just like when they go up against real fighters, which is few and far between, I want the real fighters to win. It's just the way. So, pending Goosies.
I like that. Pending Goosies is okay. He has Amanda Serrano on the card, which, as you know, is actually one of the more reputable female boxers in the game. The Unified Featherweight Championship will be on the line. Still nothing for you, Donno? Still
pending Goosies. I need to see who Paul's fighting.
Heard. JFig, anything Jake Paul related you usually hate?
You already know.
All right, so let's go ahead.
Know.
Give this one a no Goosies. Tonight, we got some NFL football. 2 7-7 teams vying for a spot in the playoffs, the NFC. You got the Rams against the Saints. Donno, Goosies or no Goosies?
Yeah, Goosies. It's football. I'm sure I'm going to have some wagers. I know Marcos is going to have. He's already told us his player props for tonight. So I'm in. Goosies.
I am locked in. Little Thursday night football for you, JFig. Goosies or no Goosies?
I'm a very busy person.
Very busy.
You don't have time for that?
Saints, Rams.
It's hard for me to sit down sometimes.
That's fair.
I'll take a peek.
Ooh, okay. So
Goosies.
Minimal Goosies.
Minimal Goosies. Neutral Goosies.
Oh, sorry.
Goosies.
Now switching things up a little bit. Not sure if you've seen this. I talked yesterday about the new Willy Wonka that's coming out, but there is indeed another remake of a movie that is hitting theaters. It's actually available at the moment if you have any time during your Christmas vacation before you hop on that cruise ship, dude. Movie's been out quite some time. I'll say this month, but Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla. A new version of Godzilla. Does that give you Goosies or no Goosies, Donno.
No Goosies, because you're telling this has been out a month. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I mean, I did watch.
I have not heard of any
That's
of this.
why I was very confused to see that the release date was December 1st.
Yeah, well, because
So
I,
stupid even
you
talking
know,
about it.
those movies are all exactly the same. You get some good monster bat. Like I watched the Godzilla versus King Kong one that came out a few years ago. I watched it, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to watch this ever again.
So no Christmas time watching for either of you?
I will not be watching that. No.
No Goosies.
That hurts my heart. Not gonna lie
Does
to
it
you.
really?
It
Are you
does.
watching it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be first in line.
First in line.
First in line.
Even you believe
dude.
that.
First in a line of one.
Yes, Godzilla Minus One. Look at that.
That's what it's called?
That is right. Like I'm trying to find out. Like, is it like minus one person or is it like the first one? Like
I thought it was
like
Mike Diamante going -1.
Minus one. Mike, what do you think of the Godzilla movie? It's Godzilla what exactly?
-1.
Exactly. Very
Here's
weird.
the thing, it's like somebody in here is saying it's the best Godzilla movie of all time, but it's like, how do you know? They're all exactly the same. Like I saw Godzilla versus King Kong. I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters. And like, don't ask me why I've watched this many Godzilla, but I've seen a bunch of them, and I can't tell you which one's which. They're all the same.
I've seen one, and I was probably a child.
Huh.
That's it.
Yeah, I think I saw the same one you did. I think everyone saw that one.
I think that's enough.
Early 2000s.
That's enough.
Oh, that one. You know what? That one wasn't very good. The one that with Matthew Broderick.
Matthew
Yeah.
Broderick, that's right.
Don't
wasn't
recall.
very
Don't
good.
remember.
Yeah, it's okay. We weren't missing much.
No.
Getting back into the realm of sports. You guys ever watch Cold as Balls?
No.
No. Can I ask a follow-up?
Yes, Kevin Hart actually hosts a show on
That did
YouTube
sound familiar.
called Cold as Balls, where him and famous athletes spend time interviewing while in a cold tub. This week's guest, Randy Moss. Randy Moss was on there and he proclaimed himself as, hands down, I consider myself the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game.
He might not be wrong. Like, I mean, Jerry Rice is the safe answer, but Randy Moss was super talented, super good.
Yeah, and in reference to your Jerry Rice mention there, it wasn't a shot at Jerry, is what he said. I still have respect and love for Jerry, but I just thought the way that I changed the game of football makes me the greatest.
He was incredible. A couple years in Minnesota, the guy was unguardable, and then that amazing year. Thankfully, the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl, but that year in New England, where he like set all these records left and right, the guy was unblockable or unguardable.
Yeah, absolutely. Their comparisons are here. 20 seasons for Jerry Rice, 14 for Randy Moss. So obviously the receptions, yards, and touchdowns are going to vary just based off of that. But there's no denying, man, Randy Moss was the most unguardable player at the time.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question Jerry had a better career. Like, there's no question. I think the debate would be like who was just like at their best, who was, the most special. I don't know. I think there's a debate to be had there. But as far as the careers, no debate. Jerry was the best ever.
Well, this is a spoiler alert. I'm letting everyone know. Spoiler alert for those fans of Survivor. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Turn your radios off. Turn off the YouTube because this information was revealed yesterday. Did you take off your headphones? Okay, I was like, are you a Survivor fan?
She really doesn't want to know. Yeah.
I totally am a Survivor fan.
I haven't watched Survivor since season 2.
Oh, you're missing all the good stuff, Donno. What the hell are we doing here? The season 2 was child's play. Babies.
It's season 2 I think it was like 01.
Now, if you watch Survivor now, it's not even about surviving anymore.
No.
It literally, they barely mention the idea of making fire or the fact that they're barely eating or the fact that they're sleeping on the ground. That's really not important now. How conniving you can be is what's at the center of the show.
No, it was season 2 was like that as well.
Well, the winner of the newest season 45 of Survivor, D. Valadares. Why is that significant? She is a 26-year-old entrepreneur, originally from Havana, Cuba, but now living in Miami.
Okay. There
She
you
was
go.
one of the 18 contestants on the 45th season of Survivor. and is crowned the winner. Does that give you Goosies or no Goosies?
No Goosies. I couldn't
Damn
care
it,
less.
Donno.
Sorry. I mean, I'm happy
She's
for
from
her.
Miami, you said?
She's from Miami.
She's representing. That means Goosies.
Woo! I like that.
Goosies.
Is the prize money still $1 million, or did it go up with inflation? Because $1 million in 2001, the last time I watched, would get you a lot farther than $1 million in 2023.
I believe the price has gone up, but I believe since COVID, their budget has gone down, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe so.
What happened? Did I ruin it for someone? Washington lost Survivor too. That's a point. Washington is a pet bird that JFig killed.
Oh no.
I did not. He was a pet bird that I was babysitting.
R.I.P.
By the way, Marcos, I just Googled it. Survivor is still offering $1 million prize money, even 20 plus years. Like I feel like if you're going to go on that show, you should get in a time machine and go back about 20 years because $1 million is basically worthless these days.
I feel like they increased it for like various reasons prior to the pandemic, but ever since the pandemic, Survivor's gotten a little cheap. And I'm gonna tell you why I know Survivor's gotten a little cheap. At the end of the episodes now, they're like, "Do you want to be on Survivor casting?" And I was like, they never asked me if I wanted to be on Survivor. They must be looking for someone.
Yeah, you should go on it.
I was thinking about going on it, man, but my problem is I'm just too handsome, Donno. They'll
No,
know
you're part frog, so you could survive in like various conditions that other people cannot.
You're lashing out, dude. With that being said, that concludes our rendition of Goosies or No Goosies. We'll be back real quick to say bye on the other side. This has been a wonderful, wonderful time right here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Welcome back to the Tobin and Leroy Show, the final segment of the Tobin and Leroy Show. Donno, I hope I haven't bothered you too much today. I appreciate you coming in, bro.
No, you haven't. JFig, it's been a pleasure as always. This is easily one of the top 10 most enjoyable parts of my day today.
Look at that. I think that's pretty good. 10 because there's like if you accuse, like, I'm gonna count poops. Poops are awesome. So
lunch, I still haven't had lunch yet. That's
every
coming.
Meal, every meal. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, actually, that makes sense. We're probably after poops, meals, naps. Then us.
I don't take naps, so you don't have much competition.
All right, cool. We're all good here. Donald, you're gonna be in with us tomorrow as well?
Yes, sir. I will be in tomorrow. Hopefully, hopefully we have some good Thursday night football to talk about. Maybe some big news tomorrow to talk about.
Indeed. Hopefully we do. I'll obviously come prepared with the games as I usually do. Fig, will you be joining us tomorrow?
You bums? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Will you be offending us with your t-shirt?
Nope.
Okay.
Stop it.
Heard. That's pretty much it. You got Hawkman and Crowder coming up next. You got Canes basketball tonight. If you're looking to listen to the Miami Hurricanes basketball team, you can do so. If you're not able to watch them.
Oh, and I think I'm going to be joining as a very quickly. I'll be on a guest. I'll be Hollywood's guest during the halftime show for that tonight. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent. And you know what? I've been informed there's a chance I may be producing that game. So you know what? It may be a little reunion. If you're interested, the Canes take on Stonehill College, the Stonehill College Skyhawks, which need to be investigated because that's clearly not a real school. They will be taking on the Hurricanes today at 8 p.m. You can catch that on Waxy. That will not be on WQAM. And why? Because the Florida Panthers will be right here on WQAM. So we got an action-packed day in regards to games. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you show Donno some love at halftime. Call in and say, that was the best halftime show I've ever heard in my life. And then just completely hang up. Other than that, thank you for joining us today. JFig, anything on the way out?
No.
Excellent. Love it. Beautiful. Could have said it better myself. Donno, anything on the way out?
Yeah, I mean, tune into the halftime show tonight of Canes basketball. If you want to hear me talk more about recruiting, check out Locked On Canes, my Miami Hurricanes podcast every day.
And for me, all I gotta say is,
hope you mother have a good day.